back. It's the Matt Murphy Radio Show, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Just after 3 o'clock, 7 minutes past the hour to be precise. We appreciate you spending a little bit of time with us this afternoon, and I'm very thankful to be able to spend time with you. It's been a busy day so far. Obviously, we'll try to cover it all for you, let you know what's going on in the world. If you've missed any of it at work and whatnot, we'll catch you up to speed on the program this afternoon. Thank you for being with us. We so appreciate you. Only one of us gets paid to be here, and the only reason I get paid to be here is because you're here. So I owe you an eternal debt of gratitude. It is Tuesday, June 23, in the year of our Lord, 2026. You can find us on a variety of platforms, to include the radio dial. Obviously, many of you listening on the radio, 99.7 FM from Alabama to Kentucky and all points in between. We're on Spotify. We're on TuneIn. We're on iHeart. We're on every place that if you go to a place where there is news or information or talk radio or talk style radio, then we should be there. And if we're not, let us know and we'll get there on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. And then, of course, there's Talk TV, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Rumble. YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Rumble. Hello. Go over there, like, and subscribe. As the vacationing Ken Weaver is likely to say from time to time, it costs you absolutely nothing, boys. Yes, episode 1062 of our gatherings right here on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. By the way, speaking of Talk TV, Young Jackson titles the television program every day. And I've started the tradition of asking Jackson what the title is on a regular basis. And on this Tuesday, June 23rd, Young Jackson, what's the title of the television show today?
Hear ye. The title for today's program, No Water for Columbia, plus Reflections of the Reflecting Pool.
That's very appropriate. We'll be talking about both of those items today on the big broadcast, not just on the television side of things, but also on the radio. I try to turn my mic off when I yank my Mikey. I got a Yankee. Sometimes you got to grab the bull by the horns and take him where you need to go. What? You're going to break it again. You play with it like that, you're going to break it, young man. And we're not fixing it this time. You hear me?
It's going to get stuck that way.
That's what they told me. They were lying. Jay Harper's back in News Closet B. In the absence of Kid Weaver, he gathers headlines for a living, delivers them twice an hour, and when it breaks.
That's correct, sir.
What's up, Jay?
Not a darn thing.
Oh, come on. You can think something.
Yeah, oh, well, my weight, my blood pressure, but beside from that, nothing else really.
You getting into any of this their soccer there?
No, man. No? And I hate to admit it though, because I do some soccer play-by-play, and I have to fake my excitement. I'm sorry. I just cannot get into it.
Johnson to Rivas. Rivas to Garcia. Garcia back to Williams.
Yeah,
Williams over to Johnson. Johnson's got a lead. Johnson. He's got goal!
Yeah, but you're lucky if you get to do that once or twice in 90 frickin' minutes.
I could keep going, but I won't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I love my country more than I hate soccer, so I will watch.
I'm with you there.
I watched the USA, but I can't. It was like I happened to have it on last night. I get home, eat a little something, doing something else on the computer, and I turn on the television, and there it is. And it's like, whatever it is, Uruguay and whatnot, and I couldn't. I just I can't watch any sort of non-American. I'm not trying to hate on it. For those of you that are enjoying it, have a great time. For those of you that are enjoying the United States of America from foreign lands, welcome. We are the land of opportunity, the shining beacon on the hill. And you're right, we are awesome. Thank you very much for saying so. Other than that, can't get into it. I'll tell you what I did get into last night. A little of that final game of the College Baseball World Series.
Ooh, now see, that's baseball at its best. College baseball is just, it's the best.
You dig it?
Oh, big time.
I
enjoy that more than MLB.
Do you now?
Uh-huh.
The clink of the bat used to bother me a lot. It does not bother me nearly as much as it does now.
I know.
Or it does not bother me now the way that it used to.
Well, years ago they were just strictly aluminum bats. Now they're a composite. It's not.
It doesn't ping like it used to.
No, it does not. Ding! Yeah, there's more of kind of a muted crack, if you will.
I would agree. Yeah. Is that you know what? I never thought about it that way, Jay. That makes sense. That it doesn't bother me as much as it used to because of that reason. Because because it used to feel like it was like a ding,
yeah, I know.
And it was just awful. And ding, you crack of the bat. But I guess suffice it to say, congratulations to one of our teammates, Ken Weaver. Oh, is this? Oh, you're ready. Wow.
Yeah, a blowout yesterday.
I'm not, I got to be honest with you, Jackson. I know you've been here almost a year. I'm not used to a producer ready to go, anticipating where I'm going on the subject matter. Yeah, congratulations to the Oklahoma Sooners. I think we can all give, despite our respective allegiances, I think we can all give Ken Weaver a hearty Boomer Sooner. Can we not, Jackson? Can we give him that?
Yep, their third College World Series championship in their history.
Yeah.
The last one was in 94, and the one before that, 1951.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, they knocked my beloved Georgia Bulldogs out of the World Series, but I told Ken Weaver at the time, I said, listen, two things. Number one, if it had to be anybody, I'm glad it was these Oklahoma Sooners because I love you, Ken Weaver. And number two, I'll make a deal with you. I'll root the Sooners on to a World Series championship in college baseball if you agree that the Sooners get to lose to the Georgia Bulldogs come September. And he agreed. So we knocked that out of the park, huh? So the Sooners win the College World Series, and my Bulldogs are going to beat his Oklahoma Sooners in Athens September 28th, I believe it is. Oh, already bored, are you? Yeah, I bet the Volunteers are bored with football talk. I don't blame you. Man, oh man, there's trouble out there in Knoxville, buddy boy.
Fall camp coming up.
Trouble out there. Who's your quarterback?
Faison Brandon is who I'm gonna guess.
Has Coach Heupel announced that? Hasn't
No.
He? Oh no, he has not. So if you got two quarterbacks, how many quarterbacks you got? Jay Harper. Harper. If you got two quarterbacks, and how many quarterbacks you got? None. None. That's right. You got no quarterbacks. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm avoiding talking about the stupid reflecting pool story. That's what I'm doing. It's a stupid story. Now, I understand that suddenly the Democrats care about money. What? Nobody in Washington, D.C. cares about money. I don't know if you guys have noticed. I consider each and every one of you to be family. I really do. And I understand that all of us don't agree all of the time. And I respect that. I expect and respect it. I fully understand that many of you think I'm a loon. That's fine, too. You got to have a crazy uncle. But it's like one big family reunion on the Matt Murphy Show. And there are some issues that we all agree on and some issues that none of us agree on and some of issues that we get all emotional about and some issues that we don't care that much about and all of that. But I want to talk to you as a family for just a little bit. I don't know if now, today's program notwithstanding, yesterday's program notwithstanding, from time to time you'll hear a politician on the radio show still. I have not excluded political folk from the airwaves when I believe that it benefits the discussion, when it benefits us, when we're learning something new. But I am up to my eyeballs in politicians who come on and just blah, 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 blah about nothing. I'm just up to here on it. And I don't know who I blame worse. I don't know who I blame more, I should say. That would be the correct grammar on it. Democrats or Republicans. Conservatives or liberals, so-called. And I have made a point in the last several months to have fewer political figures on the radio show. I don't want to have politicians on for the sake of having politicians on. Because sadly, number one, it's campaign season and they're just full of hot air and nonsense. Number two, I can only take so much of it. I have been very honest and open with you about the fight that I have with my pessimism about where we're going as a nation. I want to believe because of our great people. I want to believe because of people like you that pay attention, that invest the time and the energy that it takes. Now, I understand that we have to be entertaining first and foremost. Otherwise, we're not going to keep you around. But hopefully you're here for information, for education, for conversation, for debate. But part of me believes that this country's just doomed. I don't want to be that way. I hate being that way, but part of me believes that. So-called conservatives have never been more fractured in terms of their approach to governance, and there's a big reason for that. I'll get to that in a moment. The damn Democrats have lost their ever-loving minds. The only thing that Republicans or conservatives have going for them nowadays is that the Democrats have lost their damn minds. They have absolutely lost the script. They're off in Neverland, man. You know, they're concerned about 0.2% of the population with regard to what their policy priorities and objectives are. Meanwhile, the rest of us are just languishing. Government is either overreaching or not serving at all. I mean, the Democrats are just off the reservation, and a lot of that is because of Donald Trump. Donald Trump draws the attention that he does is because he's a disruptor in the system. He's a chaos mechanism within the system. Well, the system is going to go on beyond Trump. And I think it's about time we started thinking about that. I'm not dismissing the last 2 years of his presidency so far. However, I'm sad to report to you that we haven't gotten a hell of a lot done in the last 2 years, have we? I mean, the big, beautiful bill was a wonderful thing. I'm not discounting it. The idea that we shut down the border, I'm not discounting that either. But have we really gotten a lot done on mass deportations? I mean, all of this in Iran seems like a huge chunk of distraction that's just going to end up in a stalemate and getting a... I mean, does anybody else get that feeling? Look, regardless of debating why or should we not have, or why should we do this, or how good is the deal or how good isn't the deal? I mean, we've been debating that forever. Does anyone else get the feeling that we're just going to end up right back where we were when all of this started February 28th? Anybody? And so it feels like March, April, May, probably June, right? So it feels like 4 months of just spinning our wheels, and we're in the same place as when we started. So the Democrats are lost at sea, sadly. But I've been saying for 25 years, and I'm not breaking my arm, patting myself on the back on this front, but I have been saying it for that length of time, that today's Democrats are yesterday's socialists. Today's Republicans are yesterday's Democrats. There aren't a lot of conservatives running around Washington, D.C. or in America anymore. If there were, people would be coming on this radio show. People would be clamoring to demand that we elect politicians that don't spend money, especially on the federal level. It is the greatest existential threat and ought to be our number one priority. And we're spending money like it's last call, y'all. And we got mama's credit card, and she won't know the better until the bill comes home. So I don't know if you've noticed, but I've had fewer and fewer. And, you know, there are obvious exceptions. I have some that I go to get information that I believe are honest players, that are honest actors. Tim Burchett will be here at 4:15 today, and Tim Burchett is one of those. He's an honest guy and an earnest guy, but there aren't enough of them. I am, as I said earlier, up to my eyeballs in calling people conservatives that I don't really believe are conservatives. And sadly, when a few come along that have the priority of doing less, spending less, not adding to the burdensome deficit and by extension, the debt, that which will ruin our nation, those people come along and they either get swallowed up in the election campaign because they're not telling people what they're going to do for them. They're telling people what the government ought not to be doing to them. And that doesn't sell as well. You know what really sells well during a political campaign? Hey, everybody, we're going to get ice cream. Ice cream. What flavor do you want? Ooh, you want some pistachio? I got pistachio. Black cherry, that's one of my personal favorites. No, you don't like black cherry. What do you want, Jackson? What flavor?
Strawberry.
That's a little boring, but I'll go with it. It's better than chocolate or vanilla. You get some ice cream, too. Everybody gets some ice cream. Nobody has to eat their vegetables. And meanwhile, the guy over here who is right gets trounced because he's not telling the people what he's going to bring home to mama and papa. The government's not out there to bring home things for you. We are to create a level, fertile playing field and allow people to compete in the free market of ideas and regulate so as to ensure fair market competition. And let's go. Let's go. Let the dreams be made. But we don't do that anymore. Government dependence is creeping forward slowly but surely to the point that you can't get elected without some of it anymore. And when the Republicans take over for the Democrats, they just change priorities and they start paying off different types of people. Now, that makes me a pessimist, and I admit my pessimistic side is winning out today. Because I don't see any end in it until there is no more money. And eventually, when there is no more money, the people will be so dependent. I'm just laying it out where the goats can graze on it. The people are so dependent at that point on the freebies from the government that they will be willing to listen to Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders and AOC when they go, tax the rich, tax the rich. And they'll say, hell yeah, let's tax the rich. And then they'll begin taxing the rich. And eventually the rich will just go away. Margaret Thatcher said the trouble with socialism is eventually you run out of other people's money. And she was exactly right. I don't know. I didn't intend to monologue on that today. It was just on my heart and on my mind that we're just, when I first started in this industry, and I don't mean to wax poetic about what was, sit on the front porch in my rocking chair and talk about the way things used to be. But it was 2000, just January of 2000, I was hired by WACV. There's a man down there by the name of Don Markwell. We called him Dauntless Don. He was a great American. He was a fine man. He was my mentor. Don was up in years. He had this deep bass voice. Spoke like this. And Don, I'm 26 years old. I'm producing a morning sports show, producing Markwell's show, doing news during that time. I leave at noon, go take a short break, come back and do a 2-hour radio show from 4 to 6 in the afternoon. Kind of a split shift, work all day. Start at 6 a.m., end at 6 p.m. And I loved every second of it. And I was young and idealistic. And I still feel young. I still feel relatively idealistic when the mood strikes me. But I'm like, conservatives are where it's at. And libertarians are where it's at. And these Democrats. And he goes, you know what your trouble is, kid? You think there's a damn dime's worth of difference between the two of them. They go up there, they get corrupted by different types of people, and they're all in it for one thing: the money. And I don't know that I would say all, but the rest of it is correct. And we're screwed. Now, most of this I'm discussing, I'm reflecting on the federal government. The state government is a little bit better. Local government a little bit better still. There's still hope and promise for us in the state of Tennessee if we wish to seize it. If we demand that our politicians in the state of Tennessee cut themselves off from the federal government teat, stop depending on fake money, demand of our fellow Southerners that they do the same in their respective states, and stop the flow of fake money from Washington, D.C. to the states. That's the only way to save this country. But I don't know. Maybe we should just talk about the reflecting pool. Oh, that's how this conversation started. I remember. $16 million on the reflecting pool. Yeah, it matters. Does it matter in the grand scheme of things as much as the billions and billions of dollars of fraud, waste, and abuse in Minnesota, California, Washington State, New York, and even here in the state of Tennessee? No, not a hill of beans. Doesn't amount to a hill of beans versus the other story. But all the mainstream media, which is a damned enemy to the United States of America, wants to talk about are these stupid reflecting pool stories. When we ought to be talking about the fraud and the abuse. And they won't talk a bit about it. They won't talk a bit about Anthony Fauci. Now, will they? Because they are agents of socialism. Now, I'm late. We'll line them up on the telephones. If you have any thoughts, any comments, maybe I'm just peeing into the wind. I don't know. Spit in the ocean. See what happens. 26 after the hour on Super Talk. Hello, friends. It's Matt Murphy for King and Associates Insurance. I'll tell you what, a name you can trust in this industry, King and Associates Insurance. Number one, they do not work for the big insurance companies. They work for you, a local and independent agent. That's King and Associates Insurance. It's what they do on a daily basis, what they did for me, Emery and his team. I called Emery. I said, Emery, need some homeowners. He said, I'm on it, Murph. I got you covered, and I'm going to get you the best homeowners you've ever had in your life for less money. And then he said, let me do auto too. I was like, hey, Emery, I'm good on auto. I don't think you can beat my rates on auto. I got a good policy, buddy. And he goes, let me give it a shot. He saved me almost $400 a year on automobile alone. Plus, I got great rates on home. I mean, he can do it for you too. When you bundle, you save at King and Associates Insurance. Now, of course, ask them about life insurance. Ask them about commercial insurance if you own a business. tkinginsurance.com. tkinginsurance.com or 329-8121. 329-8121. tkinginsurance.com. King and Associates Insurance, protecting what matters most.
31 minutes past 3 p.m. I'm Jay Harper with your top stories. A forecast and an updated traffic report are on the way. President Trump participating in a campaign-style rally in Pennsylvania, Mexican border on June 3rd. The number of New World screwworm cases has risen to 16. ABC's Jim Ryan says agricultural and animal health experts are taking their fight to the sky.
On a South Texas ranch, those on the front line in the battle against New World screwworm show off the drones that are buzzing over ranches and open fields.
Being able to look at animals that may have different behaviors or possible infestation.
Rear Admiral Michael Schmoyer is Washington's New World Screwworm Directorate. Drone-mounted surveillance gear can detect whether wild or domesticated animals have open wounds and possible screwworm infestation.
That is the latest news, traffic, and weather coming up. I'm Jay Harper, WTN News. We have had an injury crash pop up near Vanderbilt. Blakemore Avenue at 23rd Avenue South. Also a wreck 24 eastbound just before the I-440 exit. And still dealing with the road work out in Murfreesboro that's got the left lane blocked of 24 westbound right after the Old Fort Parkway exit. That's what is that? It's Highway 96 there at exit 78. So just be forewarned if you're headed that way. I'm Jay Harper.
Hello, friends. It's Matt Murphy for the Tennessee Men's Clinic. I want to talk to you for a moment, gentlemen, about your health, specifically to you middle-aged fellas who perhaps you've noticed a loss of energy, motivation, or drive when it comes to the gym or getting out and doing yard work over the summertime season. Maybe you've noticed it manifest itself in the bedroom. If this is the case, men, there is a solution for you. The Tennessee Men's Clinic are qualified. They are ready to go. There's 4 separate locations. I'll tell you more about that in a moment. And they are here for you. This is not a fly-by-night company. They've been around since 2014. Evan Bass has been doing it the right way since that time when he opened up his clinic in Midtown. They've followed up with an opening in Cool Springs, then in Clarksville, and now the brand new location in Murfreesboro. All 4 of those locations can be accessed by the same telephone number, and all 4 of them offer the same incredible treatment. Urology-based. They get you in, and for less than $100, they will give you a full treatment, take a little blood work, see what's going on in your body, and they will have a plan of action same day. You don't have to wait. Same-day action, and they can get you back in the game, man. If you've lost a step or two in the bedroom or otherwise, it's time to get back in the game with Tennessee Men's Clinic. Call today. One number, 4 great locations. 615-208-9090, 208-9090, or online, TennesseeMen'sClinic.com. You know, it just occurred to me. I think about Mark and the Safe House quite a bit when I do the radio show, when I'm talking about security and safety. And we never hear from Jill over there. We need to have Jill do a commercial. You hear Mark all the time doing commercials. We never hear Jill doing one. Y'all should call him and tell him that Jill should do a commercial. And maybe stop by. 4th Avenue South in Nashville is the location for Nashville Safe House. You can find them online at NashvilleSafeHouse.com. They have more safes than you can imagine. You know, if you take all of their competitors and combine I'm not making this up, by the way. I wouldn't say this if it weren't so. If you take every competitor of Nashville Safe House and add up all of their safes, you'll come maybe close to the number of safes that Nashville Safe House has. Why? Why do they have that level of inventory? Because, A, they want to make sure that you can feel it, you can see it, you can touch it, you can bang on it. You see the fire rating, you see the quality of the safe that you're about to purchase. Number 2, make sure that it's the right one for you by touching of it and feeling of it. Number 3, you don't have to wait. They will get one of their professional delivery crews once you select the safe for you, whether it's large, small, doesn't matter, and they'll get it to your home immediately, and a professional installation will ensue. It's all about customer service, customer quality. It's all about the quality of the safes they provide, and they have every brand name in the business at Nashville Safe House. Go to NashvilleSafeHouse.com or stop by 4th Avenue South. Tell them I sent you to Nashville Safe House. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. It is the Matt Murphy Show on Super Talk, 39 minutes after the hour. Thank you, Brian. Brian says, great monologue. To prove your point further, look at the Mount Juliet Republican sign vandalism. Some had communist, Leninist, and hammer and sickle stickers on them. It took 2 generations to forget the Soviet Union. They now embrace the siren song of free money. It is scary. It is scary the way that the scourge of socialism is growing by leaps and bounds in some of the major metropolitan areas. And I promise you this, like kudzu, they want it to continue to creep across the United States of America. And like kudzu, it's going to take a Herculean effort to push back against it. Are you ready for that? I don't suppose so. I don't pretend that we're going to solve the issue today, but I want to begin the process in a pointed way. All right, so this started by me telling you that you might have noticed that we're having fewer politicians on. It's because I don't want to hear the same old song and dance. We must initiate real change in America, and it's more than just sloganeering. It's more than just the silly commercials, and I'm frankly a little tired of it because the same folk, and I'm not naming anyone by name. That's not what I'm trying to do here. I'm not trying to vilify any particular candidate above another one, any particular politician above another one. I'm telling you that they're all full of crap. They're all full of crap. I just have a very difficult time listening to someone tell me how conservative they are that served in Washington, D.C., while we've added trillions of dollars to the national debt. You're not conservative. Well, Matt, you just got to play ball. Yeah, you just got to go along to get along. You're not going to get anything done by being that way. Listen to this for a long time, y'all. Is there any wonder that our younger generations are disillusioned? Is there any? So if you wonder why some in the younger generation, Brian, are gravitating to, our younger generation, they're gravitating to one of two ways. They're gravitating to socialism or they're gravitating to Nick Fuentes. Don't look at me, that is a reality. And both options are very bad. And they're doing that because they don't see a third lane. Or at least whatever lanes are being presented to them by the older generations don't seem to be working very well. Bigger concern, Islam or socialist invasion? Socialist invasion, it's not even close. We can do something about Islam. We already are. My plan on Islam is quite simple. I understand that we've absorbed. What are we? Hey, Jackson, fact check me on this. Islamic people in the United States of America. I'm going to guess it is 1.4% of our population. That's my guess. That's a total rando guess.
Really close.
What is it?
1.3.
Oh, there you go. So 1.3% of the population is Islamic. Now, let's say that's a lowball figure. Let's say it's 2%. You can easily overcome. I mean, and I understand that they gravitate into these areas and these they increase their population numbers in particular areas where there are like-minded individuals, and they kind of take over those areas, and those get a lot of attention. Dearborn, Michigan, et cetera, Minnesota with the Somalian invasion. So, look, I'm not here to tell you that we ought not to have a reassessment on immigration policy by shutting down immigration as a moratorium for 4 years with very little exclusion, very little exception, to figure out who the hell's here, who's here legally, who's here illegally, and who's here to benefit the United States of America. Every single person that comes in the United States should be here to benefit the United States of America. The reason that I quickly tell you 85-25, that my bigger concern is Islam, even radical Islam or socialism. Socialism is breeding from within. We are breeding socialists. So they're born here. So, I mean, and I understand that, you could say that, we're the 1.3%, they're having babies too of the Islamic variety, but that is a religious choice. Socialism being a political choice, we're breeding them in America by not responding to the needs of the average citizen in a way that feels like our government is serving the people and not the other way around. The people are serving the government. No, socialism is the greater threat. 1633 says, did you start your period while you were off? You might want to check because I'm thinking it might have something showing through your rant pants. 1633, I was here yesterday. Were you not? That's number one. Number two, maybe I'm just in a mood. Maybe I'm just tired. I'm getting a lot of campaign advertisements. I'm getting a lot of people telling me that they're big conservatives, they're real conservatives, they're the supreme conservatives, that they're small government types of people. And it's not striking me as realistic or true. I'm just letting you know. I had a conversation earlier today. It kind of set me down this road of thought that why are we afraid to see what is directly in front of us? And why do we not recognize how we must respond to what is directly in front of us in order to initiate change? The conversation was about China, but I think it applies more broadly to America as a whole. And the conversation about China is the amount of land that China has taken and the amount of threat that China represents and the amount of business that we do with China and how their long game is an economic defeat of the United States of America and how and I would extend the conversation by saying our inability to stop spending money that we don't actually have is actually speeding up our own defeat. China is not going to have to beat us on the battleground or on the battlefield. China is just going to wait, subjugate their people, continue to produce products that we consume in mass quantities while we overspend, and eventually we'll just collapse on ourselves. And that collapse, from an economic standpoint, will become political socialism. And the way that happens is that these opportunists like AOC and Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren, AOC is the next generation of the Sanders and Warren brigade, they will sit idly and wait until such time as the economic collapse begins, and then they will blame the free markets. They will blame the big bad corporations, which are not at fault. The government is at fault, and they will demand and they will get support in doing so. They already are getting support in California. They're already getting support in San Francisco. They're already getting support in Seattle. They're already getting support in New York. And that support will continue. Hey, the only way that we stop these evil doers that are making money off the backs of is to demand equity for all. Not equality, equity, outcome. So I guess the answer to your question, 1633, is I've just been thinking about this for a long time, and sometimes the little negative devil on my shoulder outweighs the positive angel. I try to be optimistic and hopeful about the nature of the United States of America, and sometimes it gets the better of me. 3353 says, I live in Pennsylvania and I get texts and calls from Tennessee politicians. 5305, the solution you seek will require some violence. If you want people to face the truth of the conditions, they must also accept the answer. Now, I disagree that we need to resort to pitchforks in the streets at this point. We have to initiate action today to demand that people who are currently asleep wake up to the realities of the economic and political situation that we face and vote people into office that say no. I'll vote for any politician who says, no, we're not going to do that. That's not the federal government's job. No, we're not going to do that. That is not the job of the state government. No, we're not going to do that. That's not the job of local government. That's the job of the free market. That's a role for the people to decide. Or on the federal level, that's not the role for the federal government. That is a role for the various states, the 50 separate state experiments. When our country was founded, just a modicum of understanding about the founding fathers and how they saw the role of government, they erred on the side of not having a federal government essentially at all, right? I mean, we didn't learn a lot when I was in school about the Articles of Confederation. It was like a little skip. Did y'all, Jackson, when you were in school, it's like, I don't know if you remember your American history, but they're like, hey, we focused like hell on the American Revolution, boy, and Bunker Hill and Washington and Lexington and Concord and all those different battles and whipping those Brits' butts and sending those redcoats back across the pond. And then we said, and then we formed America. And then we skipped 10 years. Basically. From about 1780 to 1789, I guess it was 1787, I guess, was when the Constitution was presented. It was, I think, if my memory is correct, it was ratified by 1789. I might have those backwards. But one way or the other, we just kind of, did y'all talk about the Articles of Confederation at all?
Briefly.
It was like, you know.
It was like, hey, there was these things. They didn't really work out.
That's exactly. That's exactly right. It's like,
So,
yeah, we did it. So we won. And then we got together and we did the article. It
was very much a paragraph.
It just really didn't work.
Yeah, it didn't work out so well. So we did the other thing, and that's how we got
Constitution!
America.
Yeah! And then you talk about the Constitution, baby. The Founding Fathers erred on the idea of we don't want any federal government. And then they realized, okay, if we're going to be a confederation of states, if we're going to be a union of states, we kind of have to have certain things that bind us. But the idea was that the states handle 95% of it and the federal government handles about 5% of it. Unification of money, armies, navies, these sorts of things. And we've lost that. We've kind of flipped it. And now the federal government does just about everything. Or at least they do because they got the fake money. You see, you don't have the fake money in Tennessee. So, yeah, I mean, I suppose you can accuse me of being in a mood. That's fine. I do believe that we have the answer at the ballot box, 5305. I think our founding fathers gave us so many different opportunities to get out as a nation that there's still a chance. Let's see what James has to say. James, you called and I answered. What's going on, James?
Hey, Bud. I was talking to a buddy of mine today, and I want to see how you think this would come across because, I'm one of those mean conservatives. July 4th, they're supposed to have that big 250th there in D.C., and, the security's going to be real strong, but as well as I do, those left-wingers, there's most of them are retarded anyway, and they're going to try something. Somebody's going to try something. I wish Trump would come out and have a press conference and just look at the camera and say, we're having this 250-year celebration. If you are seen on the top of a building, if you are seen with a pistol, with a wooden gun, with a slingshot in your hand, you will lose your life. And we won't lose 1 ounce of sleep over it. If he would point blank come out and just tell everybody and warn them, if you're stupid enough to try something, we're going to tell whether it's ICE, DC police, whatever. We're not going to do like when Trump got shot. They seen that guy up there. They wanted that guy to shoot Trump, and then the next morning, well, we shot him. We got him. That's all that they wanted. Well, if the first one I found on top of a building, flying a drone, throwing a rock, you better have your insurance paid up, and he needs to tell them point blank that, and the chances of them doing something stupid will be cut in half. What do you think?
If your point is we need to have direct security that is willing
Exactly.
to, obviously I agree with that. I think clearly the factions on the political left, and maybe even some factions on the extreme political right. I don't even put any politics on it. There are people in the United States of America that have lost their loving minds and want to destroy this nation from within, James. And so they're going to do the things necessary to try to do that. I mean, Donald Trump's survived, 9? 3 get a lot of attention, right? But it's ultimately 9 different assassination attempts, culminating in the UFC fight June 14th. It was thwarted, and it never actually, they never spun the wheels of action on that, but they planned it. They got to the point where they were ready to go on it, and thank goodness that nothing came of it. 54 after the hour. So obviously you've got to have a robust level of security. Sadly, we've become those nations that I used to watch as a kid and say, man, oh man, I'm glad I don't live there. Have y'all ever thought about that? When you're watching as a kid and you see Northern Ireland with the IRA and all that going on, or even portions of Europe, and obviously places in the Middle East, and you're like, man, I'm glad I don't live there, and now we do. 615-737-9986. If you've got a thought, 55 after the hour, 5 until 4 on Super Talk. Hello, friends. It's Matt Murphy, and I want to talk to you for a moment about a place where European Auto Repair does not feel like European Auto Repair. I'm here to tell you that the moment you walk through Eurofix's doors, you'll notice that they're not your typical greasy garage. Waiting rooms are clean and comfortable, inviting. Service areas are spotless because Eurofix cares about everything from how you're treated to how your vehicle is treated. Every repair comes with a rock-solid 3-year, 36,000-mile nationwide warranty on all of their repairs that they perform. And at below dealer pricing, I might add. You don't get ghosted by the dealer either. You get a call back. Eurofix fixes everything European. Plus, they offer a rental car with every appointment. Locations in Nashville, Franklin, Belmead, Murfreesboro, and Mount Juliet. 844-EUROFIX, 844-EUROFIX, or visit MyEurofix.com. Once again, MyEurofix.com. Tell them I sent you.
It is 4 p.m. I'm Jay Harper with your top stories, a traffic report, and a forecast coming up. The White House pushing back on reports that the Iranians are not agreeing to allowing weapons inspectors to monitor damaged nuclear facilities. Iran has said that they haven't met with international weapons inspectors and have no plans to do so. Secretary of State Marco Rubio, after he landed in Abu Dhabi, says he can't answer why the Iranians are saying what they're saying.
We know what they agreed to. I don't know why they have to say the things they say. Whatever their internal or domestic politics is, I guess they'll navigate it. But we know what they agreed to do, and now they'll either do it or they won't.
Officials with the IAEA, that's the International Nuclear Watchdog, also says that they don't have any meetings scheduled with the Iranians. A shooting at a library in Northern California yesterday left 2 people dead, and an 18-year-old suspect has been arrested. Today, police identified the shooter as an 18-year-old named Bradley Scott Sayer of Chico, California. Authorities say he opened fire at the Butte County Library a little after 5 o'clock yesterday afternoon, killing a 74-year-old and a 46-year-old, both male patrons at the library. Chico Police Chief Billy Aldridge said that first responders were on the scene within just a couple of minutes and apprehended the shooter in 4 minutes.
Our first officer went on scene at 5:14 and 44 seconds. So our response time was less than 2 minutes. At 5:16 and 53 seconds, we had the suspect in custody.
A girl was injured by broken glass. Her name and age are not being disclosed. Authorities did reveal in the press briefing that the shooter seemed to be inspired by the Columbine High School shooting. A federal judge has temporarily blocked efforts to restrict what SNAP recipients can buy. Channel 4's Lauren Lowry has more.
A federal judge has blocked efforts to limit what SNAP recipients can actually buy. Earlier this year, state and federal lawmakers in more than 20 states, including Tennessee, decided that SNAP benefits could not be used to buy things like soda, energy drinks, candy, dessert. Now a federal judge has temporarily blocked the Trump administration from allowing states to enact that legislation.
More than 600,000 Tennesseans receive SNAP benefits. The new restrictions were to take effect July 31st. That's the latest news, traffic, and weather coming up. I'm Jay Harper, WTN News. We have a crash downtown, 4th Avenue South at Broadway. An injury accident now, Dickerson Pike at Briley Parkway. 24 westbound, just past Briley Parkway North, a wreck reported at exit 43. Also 24 eastbound at Bell Road near exit 59, a crash reported. I'm Jay Harper.
Hello, friends. My name is Matt Murphy. This is the Matt Murphy Radio Show. I feel much better now. I do. I feel much better now. Although I forgot to go to the bathroom during the news hour, the news break at the top of the hour. But other than that, I feel good. I feel better. I got that off my chest. Thank you for allowing me to do so. 615-737-9986. I don't actually feel better, but you know what? I mean, I learned from the late, great Rush Limbaugh to believe in the American people and to believe that the American people know better. And I still want to cling to that. I want to believe in that. I do not, sadly, believe in the politicians any longer. And sadly, I believe that the media, the mainstream media, has become, in a lot of ways, complicit in the downfall of the United States. There have been disruptors that have put the brakes on some of this. Donald Trump is one of those disruptors. Why do you think the media hates Donald Trump so much? They loved Donald Trump before he got into politics. Loved Donald Trump before he got into politics. Now they hate him. Now he's awful. Now he's a racist, always been a racist. I mean, there's all these things. Why do you think that is? Because he is a disruptor in what is going on in the system that has been created to sadly benefit the politicians and not so much us. And the politicians deflect largely by blaming others. It's easy for the liberal politicians to blame the big corporations. Big corporations are part of the free market. Liberals hate the free market. So anyway, I got a smile on my face. I want to be more optimistic. I believe in you, the American people. I'm gonna lean on that angel that is on one of my shoulders. I don't know which. The devil's on one shoulder and the angel's on the other shoulder, and the people are right here in the middle. 615-737-9986. If you'd like to be a part of the show, 615-737-9986. We'd love to hear from you. Brad is next up. Hey, Brad.
Hey, Mr. Murphy. How's it going?
I'm doing well, Brad. How are you?
Fairly good. Ben, before I do, though, I was saying in that last segment when you were going into, you were feeling better, which I'm glad, but I'm also, I'm glad to hear the excitement in your voice. I can relate to it, but before I yell at clouds with you, I was going to paint a picture for you. You talked about going on your motorcycle rides out in the country when things seem wrong.
Yeah.
I'm sitting in my truck waiting on hold, and I'm watching Mama Deer and her little baby twins come out and doing their thing right in the middle of all of this.
That's
and
good.
It just put a smile on my face.
That's good. No, that's good. That's good. Yeah, I mean, there are things that make me happy about this country, and I absolutely love the people of the United States of America, greatest people on God's green earth in the South, and it does reinvigorate me and revitalize me. But at the same time, there's just, I hope to be a town crier, at very least, to you call it, yelling at the clouds, and yeah, I mean, maybe so. I want to yell at the clouds until enough people notice that there are clouds building overhead, and eventually those clouds are going to turn into thunderclappers, and before we know it, we're going to be in a deluge. And I just want to make people aware of that. But yeah, I mean, you know what? There are many great portions. I mean, there are many great aspects of the United States of America, and we haven't lost her yet. I'm still hopeful.
Oh, no. And that's kind of what I was calling for. I want to share a story with you that I came from me and my daughter on Father's Day. She came by to see me. For context, I'm 42. She's 18, just finished her first year of college. Could not be more proud of her, but I worry for her. And everything that you're talking about, the younger generation and the directions they're going, she's got a good head on her shoulders. So she sees it. But at the same time, when she's over for Father's Day, I can't remember what we were talking about. But all of a sudden, I remembered recently I had found my ACT transcript from when I graduated high school in 2002. So I pulled it out to share that with her. And the first thing that she noticed on it, which wasn't even what I was pulling out to share with her about it, was the tuition rates for the colleges. It had, I guess I'd marked where I was interested in going to Volunteer State Community College up here in Sumner County, which is where she's going. She wants to be a teacher. And she pointed out that back then when I graduated, it estimated my yearly college tuition would be $1,400 per year, which is now quadrupled.
Yeah, I bet.
And it kind of broke my heart, and we talked through it and kind of went on. She's done good. She's got scholarships and all that. Well, then the next day I was thinking about it. I was kind of dwelling on it. And I thought, well, what else has quadrupled? Well, housing prices have quadrupled. Healthcare prices have quadrupled. All the big-ticket items that fill the American dream have quadrupled. And she's wanting to be a teacher. Well, guess what hasn't quadrupled?
What's that?
The
Pay?
teacher salary.
Yeah.
Or any salaries, for that matter. And it is disheartening. And I don't know what to tell her sometimes. And I see all of this happening, and I see all this going on, and what you're talking about with the politicians, and what you're talking about, the same lip service that basically they give. I was listening to you yesterday when you had Congressman Van Epps on. And that's exactly what you're talking about. You didn't say it, and I don't have anything against Congressman Van Epps, but...
I don't either, but Matt's going to get chewed up, too. Chewed up and spit out by the system. I want to ask a question in a different way, and you've inspired me. I'm going to ask our next guest, Brad. That's Tim Burchett, because, and it might be a little unfair to ask this of Burchett, but I'm going to do it anyway. The idea was back in 2016, Donald Trump won election. In 2016, he won the primary process and then eventually won the presidency on two basic concepts. And they were both three-word concepts. Y'all remember what they were? Not lock her up. That was a third, but, that was a side note. Lock her up was one, but two basic concepts. Number one, build the wall. 3 words, simple, easy to understand. We knew exactly where he was going, knew exactly what he was talking about. We knew exactly what he was talking about. Build the wall. Number 2, remember this one? Drain the swamp. We've accomplished number 1. We are nowhere close to accomplishing number 2. Congressman Tim Burchett joins us on the program. Tim, I'm a little down on the future of America right now. I am. I admit it. And you've caught me in a bad way, and I feel like Tim Burchett's going to make me feel better about this country. Hey, Tim.
How you doing, brother? Outside of being depressed.
Well, here's the thing. I think the swamp's winning. I mean, I think Trump 10 years ago said, I'm going to build the wall. He's done that. God bless him. And we're working hard, and we've accomplished that. But in terms of the swamp, man, whew.
I think part of our problem is that we are terrible at messaging, and we're terrible at our priorities and what we've done and what we continue to do. The Big Beautiful Bill had some great stuff in it: energy independence, all this other stuff, getting rid of bureaucracy, and then we never did really promote it. We never talked about it, and I think that's part of the problem. I always say it's not how you start, it's how you finish, and I hope we finish strong. And I wish we would get our heads out of the sand and start talking about the things that made this country great. And I'm hopeful with this Iranian deal, getting ready to put that to rest. I don't know all the details, and I feel a little better about it since the press is trashing it so much.
That's fair.
You know, they were against it. They were, you know, we need to do something about Iran, and we do something about Iran, and then they attack Trump on that, and then all the people that should be supporting him on that, for whatever reason, have decided to stay home. And of course, the price of gasoline goes up. I thought we should have pivoted right then to attack the oil companies because they're ripping us off, because we are exporting energy. I know people are going to say, "Oh, you don't understand commodities." I understand commodities completely, and I also understand the oil companies profited incredibly well under this situation. And no, they don't let any catastrophe go without them profiting from it. I thought we should have popped them pretty hard, but we didn't have the guts to do that, either party.
Well, can I ask you a question while you're on that front? Because I was having a conversation with someone at lunch, and we were talking about the oil energy prices and where we are regarding energy broadly, and oil and gas more specifically. And I hear a lot of people talking about Tennessee leading the way on nuclear energy.
Right.
Why don't we have a game plan? I mean, can we not get over the 3 Mile Island nonsense and develop? I mean, I don't know where you are on, Tim. I assume that it's something that you would be in favor of. Can we get a plan of action? I know that, you know, TVA is a part of the federal government, but Trump's got his TVA people in place. Can we not kind of, as a state, lead the way here?
I think we are. I think we're getting ready to make some big announcements on that. It's called the small nuclear reactors is what we've been talking about. And every year they say 8 more years we're going to have those things. Well, Trump, it doesn't happen overnight, but Trump has actually got his people in place in there. Lee Zeldin at EPA is the real deal. I know Lee really well, and I think he's doing a great job. And today, of course, the media is not going to talk about it. Some big grants have been announced on nuclear energy and what we're going to do with that. So I think that's going to happen. But again, you know, we're relying on the national media to promote this crazy thing, and they hate our guts. They want to destroy Trump. They want to destroy this country. So they're leading us down this path of despair. And nothing can be further from the truth. I think there's going to be some big occurrences happen because of the small nuclear.
No, man,
I agree with you. But there again, we're terrible at messaging. You know, the week of the president's State of the Union address, what did the Republican-controlled Congress talk about? What was our messaging? Do you remember?
I don't.
Probably don't, because it didn't resonate. Was appliances. Because under the Biden administration, they had restricted our incredibly the appliances. You know, amount of they changed all this stuff with them, and it really, you know, is some of that environmental garbage, and all it did was pay off some of their left wing organizations to further do more damage. But and that's what we talked about. And I just get so angry at our leadership, and I talk to them. Oh, we're working on it, and then they invite me. We want you to go to talk to a group about it. So I go to the group, and one of the guys in there I'm in Congress with, he starts talking about how we need to talk to our newspapers more and how we need to bring them along. Well, they're so far to the left, that's why nobody's paying attention to them. That's why the internet's so important. That's why social media. You know, I remembered when Marsha Blackburn first ran for the U.S. Senate, and I was at Buddy's Banquet Hall, and I knew all her people. Ward Baker was heading it up, and Ward said, we're going to put, I think he said maybe 85% of our stuff's going into social media. And I thought that's the craziest thing I'd ever heard of, because I'm just not in tune to all that. I knock on doors. But you know what? That's where it's at. That is exactly where it's at, and that's where we need to be. And we're going to get left behind. The Democrats do a better job at that than we do. So we've got to start promoting what we're doing, because I do think we're doing a lot better than the media is letting it out. But, you know, if we turn it over to the Democrats, let's look at New York, look at California. That is what we'll have. That is what we'll have. And they keep saying, I hear them say, well, we're going to elect, a moderate Democrat. Well, show me one. Every Democrat up here votes with the Democrats at least 98% of the time. And so, they'll vote occasionally. You got a couple of them that'll vote with us on a few bills, but it's usually at election time, and it deals specifically with their district. So, yeah, there is no such thing as a moderate Democrat anymore. And there's a lot of moderate Republicans. I wish there weren't. But that's sort of where we're at.
Well, see, look, you're providing me a level of hope, and I do want to ask you about the Iranian deal that you brought up, but in 2016, our national debt was $19.6 trillion. 2016.
Right.
Now it's $39 trillion. We've added $20 trillion in 10 years.
Yep,
and a lot of that's with Republicans in charge.
Oh, 100%. I can't argue with you one bit on that. I talk about that till I'm blue in the face. And,
you're one of the good guys. See, I get to yell at the good guys, right? Because
we need to. We need to wake up. We need to wake up. Our spending on military and other things is just outrageous.
So talk to me about, give me some hope on the Iranian. I just fear that they're lying to us. I fear that they're just lying through their teeth, and they'll say whatever they can to get concessions and to get some of their money freed up and to get the sanction relief that they want.
We can't trust the Iranians, first of all. I can't touch them as far as I can throw the dome off the Capitol. They are not to be trusted. They're ruthless. They're savages. And they're awful people. And that's probably why I'm not in the negotiations. But the truth
I would love to see Tim Burchett sitting across the street with that wonderful Tennessee drawl. You're a bunch of lying savages. Now let's talk.
Yeah. Well, you'd be surprised. You'd probably enjoy some of my meetings with some of these foreign countries that come in my office to meet with me on things because I'm on the Foreign Affairs Committee. They're just wringing their hands thinking, man, we got to get through this idiot to get to somebody else. So, no, I don't know. What was your question?
Do you have hope that that we're going to accomplish something? I feel like at this point, if we can just get back to, honestly,
Well, what we did was, what you got to realize, the initial bomb run was one bomb they dropped on them to seal up their nuclear capabilities. And then we thought they'd move away from it, and they didn't. And then that's why they pummeled them for weeks on end. And that first initial bomb, and the president actually briefed me on it in the White House, in the Roosevelt Room. And we talked about it, and they basically sealed up their nuclear capabilities in a mountain. So that's what we got to watch. And I think our satellite capabilities are pretty accurate on that. If we see them poking around out there, then I think the bombing will commence again. Because, what price are you going to put on peace? Those idiots have nuclear capabilities. That is a dangerous, and they've been don't kid yourself. They've been at a state of war with the United States since they took the hostages in the 70s. So this is with nothing we don't know, and Trump just said, "Look, I'm not going to give them these pallets of cash, and I'm not going to free up." And everybody says, "Well, it's their money, Burchett." Well, they're a bunch of savages. I'd stop them. Who cares? Don't let them have their money. But that's what it's about. Is we've got the nukes in the ground, their nuclear capabilities, and they can't get to them. And there's only two countries that can. It's us and China. And if we see any movement towards them, I suspect the bombing will commence. But we don't want them with nuclear capabilities in the Middle East. First thing they would do is lob one towards Israel, and then the other countries would have to get involved. But there's a reason you saw the other Muslim-leaning countries, if you will, get involved in this thing and on our side against Iran, because they don't want it. They don't want it. The greed is the ultimate driving force here. They want those American dollars, and they want business with us. They want to be able to sell their oil, their energy worldwide, And if Iran's acting up, or God forbid, there's a nuclear war, then it's all over. It's all over, and I think they know that. And so that's what this thing's all about. You can all the other stuff, but that's the bottom line. We don't need them with any nuclear capabilities. We're exporting energy. We've got, and under the big beautiful bill, it cleared up some things and allowed us we're going to get back into processing oil, which with our refineries. We haven't put on any new refineries.
We need new refineries too. We need small modular nukes.
Yeah.
Put new refineries on the list too, Tim. We need those too.
Yeah, absolutely. And and I think that's what it's about.
Yeah.
So I think we're in a lot better shape. We are terrible at messaging. And until you got a group in the Senate that wants to undermine the president on his Save America Act. They want to undermine the president. What about
the leader? I mean, do you have any faith in Thune?
No, not one bit.
If you were in the Senate, would you want new leadership?
I would, absolutely, 100%. But I'm not in the Senate, so know, I guess I should keep my mouth shut.
A boy can dream, right?
Yeah. But the big boys, look, they want rid of Trump. They want it back to the days where they could call up there and get their little special projects done, and the American people would not be any wiser to it. You've got a few people over there now that are got some sense and some ethics, and that's, but we don't have enough.
All right, I gotta pitch with my fastball because we only got about a minute left. But I need to ask you: is there a world where Anthony Fauci, even with the stupid pardon that Biden gave him, could end up before a court based on what the lies? I mean, Tulsi Gabbard just came out with this in her final day as director of national intelligence. I'm sure you've seen it. Is there a world where we could find him in a courtroom or what?
100%. But will we? I doubt it. This town's compromised.
Yeah. Sad to say. Do you, Tim Burchett, two more questions. Number one, do you love your country more than you hate soccer? I do. I'm watching this stuff, and I hate soccer, but hey, I'm all in if USA keeps winning. What about it?
Yeah, I'm USA, of course. When I was in high school in the 80s, when I was captain of the 1982 Bearden High School football team, we went 5-5. You might have heard of me. It was a rebuilding year. But the only people who played soccer were the missionaries' kids. There's a group of missionaries from Spain, and the Platieros, and that was a bunch of them that were in our school at Bearden High School, and they're the only ones that played soccer. I thought it was a communist plot, but I never played soccer.
Well, but you love America. And final question, 10 seconds left. How's my skateboard coming? Good?
It's out there as soon as the ethics okays it. But I will not own the skateboard company. Kelly Burchett will, and it will probably be called Dadgum Skateboard.
I love it. Hey, Tim, we love having you on. You make me feel better about America. Thank you. Take care.
Keep fighting. We cannot give up. Do not give up.
I love it. Thank you, Tim Burchett. There's Tim Burchett. I'm late. It's 29. Oh, my goodness. Oh, I'm so much trouble with Jackson Williams on Super Talk. Hello, friends. It's Matt Murphy, Efficient Heating and Cooling. It's hard to find someone you can trust when it comes to large home repairs, including heating and cooling of your home. Well, Jeff Eddy's that person. Efficient Heating and Cooling is that company. I trust them explicitly, implicitly, every single way, and you can too. Friends, Jeff Eddy's Efficient Heating and Cooling has the best value around, $125. You never pay more than that on a maintenance call in their service area. Why? Because they don't believe in it. They don't believe in charging you more than that and oftentimes you pay less than that, as a matter of fact, no matter how many units you might have in your home. Now, at some point you have to replace, and when that time comes, they're an Elite Pro partner with Rheem. They can help you out in that regard. EfficientHVAC.net. EfficientHVAC.net, or call 615-784-4424. Call today, 615-784-4424 for Efficient.
33 minutes past 4 p.m. I'm Jay Harper with your top stories. We'll get you an updated traffic report as well as a forecast in a few minutes. Contradictory statements from Washington and Tehran over the issue of nuclear inspections in Iran. ABC's Karen Travers reports.
President Trump Tuesday insisting the Iranians have agreed to allow nuclear inspectors into their country, despite a spokesman for Iran's foreign ministry saying they have no plans for that.
They're wrong. They're wrong. They're wrong. They know they're wrong. They told us inside, and we have it down 100% inspections. And if they were right, I'd cancel the meetings right now.
Asked when inspectors would actually be on the ground in Iran, the president said there is no rush. It will be at the appropriate time. Vice President Vance Monday said he expects the inspectors to start their work this week.
Back here in Tennessee, the Clarksville Police Department is looking for a man who reportedly fired shots resulting in damaged homes and vehicles in the area of Highland Bluff Way early yesterday morning. According to Clarksville police, the shooting occurred in the early morning hours, and police said about, a number of 911 calls reported for this shooting at about 2 o'clock in the morning yesterday. Although nobody was injured, several vehicles and homes had bullet holes. Detectives with the CPD, they're now trying to identify a man that was captured on some homes surveillance video. The market numbers, they're brought to you by Beacon Capital Management. They're online at beaconcm.com. For your closing money news, here's Wayne Cabot.
Market indexes were down, driven by a sell-off in tech stocks. The Dow was down 46 points at the end of Tuesday trading. The S&P 500 lost 107. The Nasdaq fell 580. Losses for chip makers Nvidia, Micron, Broadcom, and Lam Research helped drive markets down. Investors could be questioning heavy spending on artificial intelligence and if AI will return bigger profits. Oil prices continue their slide on hopes of a lasting peace deal between the U.S. and Iran, dipping below $74 a barrel. The Supreme Court clears the way for ExxonMobil to sue Cuban state-owned companies in American courts over property seized after Fidel Castro took power on the island. The Department of Energy announcing $17.5 billion in loans to develop nuclear reactors to meet power needs for data centers. Secretary of Energy Chris Wright says several energy companies have already identified sites for proposed reactors.
That is the latest news, weather, and traffic coming up. I'm Jay Harper, WTN News. Fourteenth Avenue South at Broadway in the Gulch, still trying to clear that wreck. We've got a new one now on 440. It's headed eastbound just past Nolensville Pike. 24 westbound past Briley Parkway North. That crash still being dealt with. We also have an injury crash 65 northbound at the 440 exit. Also 24 eastbound at Bell Road. A crash reported there. And out in Lebanon, that car ran off the highway there, 40 eastbound past exit 239. It's blocking the right shoulder. I'm Jay Harper.
Hello, friends. Matt Murphy, the Matt Murphy Radio Show back after it. It is 20 until 5 o'clock. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I feel like I've been gone for a while. That's because we ran so long with our good friend, Congressman Tim Burchett. After I ranted and raved about politicians, I have one of the good guys on. And I do believe Tim's one of the good guys. You notice what he said there? That if he were in the Senate, he would not support John Thune? That's, Just mark that for me, Jackson. Just mark that and we'll set it aside for the time being. 615-737-9986. I'll get on to the subject. We carried for you in full, we played for you in full, the Tulsi Gabbard post, the video post regarding her leaving as Director of National Security, or Director of National Intelligence, I should say, and the information that they uncovered about Anthony Fauci, what he knew and exactly when he knew it. I'm going to follow up on that by playing you in the 5 o'clock hour an exchange between Senator Rand Paul, one of the great guys in Congress. There aren't that many of them, and he's one of them. Senator Rand Paul's exchange with Samantha Powers, who is head of USAID, regarding what they knew and when they knew it. And this was from a few years ago. The bureaucracy is such full of lies. I guess maybe one of the reasons that I'm kind of on a rant here is, one, we do nothing about our national debt. We spend money that we don't have. This is on the backs of ourselves, our children, our grandchildren. Number two, in the meantime, we're giving money hand over fist to foreign nations. We're giving money to all of these organizations. There's no accountability when all of that blows up in our face, which is what happened with COVID. Anthony Fauci knew that we had funded something that was unleashed on the world and killed upwards of 20 million people, we're told. The decision makers that directed the American taxpayer dollar to those facilities that eventually created a virus and then allowed, or accidentally or on purpose, allowed it to leak, none of them have been held responsible. And they just lie and lie and lie about it. In the meantime, let's see who's next. Tim, I believe, is next. Hey, Tim, how are you?
Yes, I got a solution for the debt. I did some research. The federal government takes in about $5 trillion a year in fees and penalties, which goes into the general fund. Instead of it going to the general fund, I'd like one of our representatives to pass a bill or present a bill asking that it be put to paying down the debt.
So, wait, I missed something. What money goes into the fund?
When the government gets a fee or a fine, for against a company for something, all that money is taken and put into the general fund. Instead of it going into the general fund, it should go to paying down the debt.
I don't know what you mean by the general fund.
Well, when I went online and researched where the money, how much was taken in fees and fines, it said $5.6 trillion. And I then my next question was, where does that money go? And it said it's put into the general fund.
Yeah, the U.S. Treasury. It goes to the Treasury.
Right.
Yeah.
So instead of it going to the Treasury, it should go to paying down the debt, because I don't think our budget should be set off of extra money that's brought in.
Yeah, I mean, I would be fine with that. I mean, it's kind of, I'm fine with that. I mean, it's a little bit 6 of one or half a dozen of the other, because if it's money not being spent out of the general fund, then it's not going to stop them from spending that money. They're just going to borrow more money, which will be counterintuitive. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, I mean, there are other things that have to be fixed as far as...
Yeah, our issue is spending.
Right, but that's at least an amount that's not from taxes. So budgets shouldn't be based off of that. To me, I consider it to be extra money, and that it should go towards paying down the debt.
I don't disagree with you, but if we don't stop adding $1 trillion plus a year to the debt, I don't disagree with you. I think moving it from one account to another is of no consequence in the conversation. I appreciate what you're saying. Instead of moving that money to the general fund, pay the debt with it. So out of $40 trillion, I don't know if your figure is correct. I'll take you at your. I can't imagine that we take in $5 trillion. Did he say trillion? Dollars in fees a year? I think the budget's like $5 trillion a year. The entire budget. So I would have a difficult time maybe the math is what's screwing me up. I'll do some math on that in just a moment. Chris is next up. Hey, Chris.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm doing well, Chris. I hope you are.
Yeah, I'm doing great. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I just thought earlier you were being a little bit tough on the Republicans because there were a lot of Republicans that were willing to take on the debt and refuse to raise the debt ceiling, and it was Trump that got in their way, and Trump was the one who wanted to raise the debt ceiling, and you're kind of blaming Republicans across the board and giving Trump a pass, and I actually think that
I'm blaming those that refer to themselves as fiscal conservatives.
Oh, but are still
Donald Trump has never referred to himself as a fiscal conservative.
Yes, but he did run on the platform of stop all this wasteful spending, and of course, I guess he's stopping a lot of the wasteful spending. Okay, so fair enough.
I'm not trying to blame Republicans more than Democrats. I mean, obviously, Democrats don't care, so I don't want to come off that way, Chris. So, I mean, I understand that on balance that these Republicans in Washington, D.C. are a damn sight better than the Democrats. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I do believe that. But I guess I expect more out of them.
Yes, absolutely. I agree with you.
So I don't want to come off as being too nasty to, the GOP. There's a lot of good folks in the GOP, and there are a lot of good people that are trying to do the hard work. I think most of those politicians, sadly, have given up on the idea. You don't win elections. Let me put it this way. I know that it's easy for Matt Murphy to sit here behind the microphone, Chris, and just scream and yell about the debt and all that. Mm-hmm. I also know this, that if you're a politician, you don't win elections running on paying off the national debt. You just don't.
Well, some Republicans have. Some Republican representatives did run on that platform and did get elected. And they tried. Again, they tried. They were a pretty powerful force there for a while.
So other than Thomas Massey or Rand Paul, who are you talking about?
Oh, okay. I can't think of the name, but I do know there were 5 or 6 at the.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, yeah. and then we get mad at those guys when they stand in the way of getting the big beautiful bill or whatever. And I'm kind of, I don't know. I just I don't want to come off as someone who is inflexible in moments of high crisis, but I've just seen it over and over and over again that the GOP always has an excuse as to why they don't do what they're promising they're going to do when they have the power to do it.
And sadly, Matt, I think it's going to come down to, like Rome and so many other countries in the past that were at the prime of their peak. They became wasteful spending, couldn't get it under control, and it only was after they crashed hard that things would finally get better. It's kind of like a drunk or someone who they have to have a really bad, horrible experience before they will make the changes necessary to get better. I'm afraid America might be in that run.
Alcoholics got to hit rock bottom, right?
Yeah. And America might have to hit rock bottom.
Well, we're certainly addicted to free money. Chris, I'm glad you called, and I hope you do it again, friend. All right. Take care, Chris. Thank you. 615-737-9986. I respect it. I appreciate it. Apparently, the figure is $300 billion, not $5 trillion. $300 billion in fines and fees, penalties, according to 7736. It apparently got their information from a computer somewhere. So I value that information. $300 billion. Once again, that $300 billion. If you want to go. If we want to create a program, here's what I would say. Just dedicate that money to paying interest off the federal deficit or the federal debt. And I'll be fine with that. If you direct every fine, penalty, and fee collected by the federal government must go to the payment of the interest on the national debt that we pay on an annual basis first and foremost, and then there won't be anything left over. But if there is anything left over, then it can go back in the general fund, or it can go to pay off the overall debt, because our interest payments on the debt is astronomical. It is 10 minutes until the top. Ricky and Mark, you're coming up. Your calls as well. There's a Supreme Court ruling that came down today, 6-3, saying that green card holders can be stripped of their legal status if they have criminal charges pending against them when trying to re-enter the United States of America. Guess who dissented? Oh, 3 guesses, and the first 2 don't count. I'll tell you more on the story coming up in I don't know, a few minutes. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hello, friends. Matt Murphy for Genesis Diamonds. Everybody's loving what's happening at Genesis, but it is going to end in about a week. On June 30th, the date will come and the time will come where this moment is over, and you don't want to miss it. It is the 5-year free financing event at Genesis Diamonds. Make any purchase, pay 0 down, and get interest-free payments for 5 years on approved credit. It's insane. Not just on things like engagement rings, but earrings, bracelets, bands, colored gemstone jewelry, pre-owned Rolex watches. Buy now, pay nothing down, and spread your payments over 5 years with 0 interest. You're talking about a $5,000 gift that comes out to just $85 a month, or a luxury pre-owned Rolex that starts at $150 a month. An amazing offer from the jeweler that continues to amaze me in Nashville, Tennessee. They're always finding a way to bring you more value, and they're doing it right now. You get the Genesis Value Plus 5 years, 0 down, spread the payments, and you can afford that home run gift, that heritage gift that will be passed down from generation to generation. Genesis Diamonds, hurry. See store for details on approved credit. Green Hills and Cool Springs. Tell them I sent you.
Coming up at the top of the hour, the U.S. voting on an Iran war powers resolution. Trump speaking at a manufacturing facility today in Pennsylvania. We'll have some of what he said. And Bill Gates speaking out on Jeffrey Epstein, an interesting case. We'll have that at 5 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, not everybody likes the Matt Murphy Show. They listen, though. 5467 says Jackson should rename the show Murphy's Monthly. LOL. Boy, you really don't have any material today, do you? 4 hours hard to fill sometimes. Carry on. Now, 4 hours is really not hard to fill, especially when you've been doing it as long as I have, and I have plenty of material. I still have the Columbia Power and Water story to talk about. I've got this Austin Lee dude down in Murray County that's making big waves down there, kind of a local angle. I got some Supreme Court rulings to discuss. I've got a follow-up on the Anthony Fauci expose that we delved into yesterday on the show, so there is a tremendous amount to get to and only 2 more hours to go. Do the milk thing again. Oh, yeah. Okay. Or why don't I just give out your telephone number and we could call you and talk to you about whatever you want to talk about. 5467. That'd be fun, too. In the meantime, some other people who maybe care a little more about the subject. Hey, Ricky, how are you?
I'm doing good.
What's on your mind, Ricky?
So I just want to tell you, I mean, the guys, I think somebody already corrected that we collect between $4 to $5 trillion, spend about $6 to $7 trillion. So we have whole $1 to $2 trillion every year. And we are also sitting on $40 trillion debt and $100 trillion in unfunded liability for Medicare and Social Security. So it's almost difficult to salvage problem. I mean, they have to do something. They should not be distributing money to foreign countries.
No,
lowering
we should
taxes.
shut off all of that. Yeah, I mean, the first thing you do is, and I'm sorry to rush you, Ricky, but the music's in the background and they're telling me I got to get out of here. So I've got 2 more hours to go. Thank you for the call, Ricky. Sorry that it is so short. Mark, we'll get to you in a moment, your calls as well. Obviously, the first thing we should do is shut off foreign aid. If we can't pay our own bills, we shouldn't be paying the bills of other nations. Friends and foes alike. 615-737-9986. 2 down, 2 to go. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
It is 5 p.m. I'm Jay Harper with your top stories, a traffic report, and an updated weather forecast. All that stuff coming up. A symbolic vote in the Senate today after they adopted a House-passed Iran war powers resolution by a 50 to 48 vote. While it won't do much to curb the White House from striking Iran again if it chooses to, it does send a strong message to the president. Senator Richard Blumenthal, he's a Connecticut Democrat. He expressed concerns that it wouldn't prevent things from escalating.
I hope we can avoid a restart of this disastrous, unnecessary conflict, but it will depend on smart, strategic negotiations.
Lower-level talks in Switzerland are continuing following J.D. Vance's return back to the States. Blumenthal pointing out that releasing the sanctions reduces U.S. leverage to have Iran comply with UN inspections of its nuclear sites. The president, he participated today in a campaign-style rally in Pennsylvania. He toured a manufacturing facility for Mack trucks. The president made a speech and touched on a variety of topics, including the elections in California. Here, the president seems to boast about his influence on the elections process in California regarding the results for the Republican candidate, Steve Hilton.
Over the next week, he was definitely going to lose, but the U.S. attorney called. We want to check your votes. About an hour after the call, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Hilton has won. So had I not made that call, Steve Hilton would right now be watching the election from home.
Hilton, he'll face off against the Democrat, Xavier Becerra. That election, takes place in the fall. California, they claim to have one of the strictest election protocols and procedures in the country. They do allow for mail-in ballots, though, and as we all know, that can delay results. Bill Gates telling lawmakers earlier this month that Jeffrey Epstein was trying to blackmail him about his extramarital affairs.
After Microsoft co-founder Bill Gates tried to end his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein, the convicted sex offender attempted to use compromising information about Gates' extramarital affairs to force his way back into Gates' life, he told the House Oversight Committee earlier this month, according to a transcript of the closed-door testimony released Tuesday. Gates, according to the transcript, said Epstein used an advisor to send him veiled threats, appeared to coach Gates' advisor on how to potentially blackmail him, and mixed fact and fiction to leverage compromising information against the software billionaire.
That's Peter Haralambous reporting. That is the latest news. Traffic and weather are coming up. I'm Jay Harper, WTN News. A crash reported on the East Bank, I-24 eastbound at the Shelby Avenue exit. In Lebanon, the right lane is blocked on I-40 eastbound just past exit 239. A crash there and a vehicle on fire. Also in Hermitage, Old Hickory Boulevard, north of I-40 east, a crash. I-440 eastbound past exit 6, a wreck and an injury accident. 65 northbound at the 440 exit. I'm Jay Harper.
Super Talk 99.7 WT, and I feel bad for rushing Ricky. because we were running out of time. I maybe should have put him on hold. Ricky, if you're still listening, give me a call back. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Matt Murphy. Halfway home, the Matt Murphy Radio Show this Tuesday, June 23. Thank you for being with us. Whether you're listening on the radio, whether you're listening on your smartphone, your app or whatnot, perhaps you're watching on Talk TV and participating in the YouTube chat. I see you over there, and I appreciate all of you for participating. The YouTube chat's a crazy place, man. You go in there, you better bring it blazing. Because it's it's a free-for-all over there. And I absolutely love every second of it. 615-737-9986 if you'd like to be a part of the show. 615-737-9986. Columbia Power and Water recently went up on their rates. We had many discussions about this. We're going to talk at length about this tomorrow with Representative Scott Sapicki, who has the lowdown, the deets on this. But it's my understanding that the state has declined to extend a loan to Columbia for the amount of money that they wanted to build their wastewater treatment and their intake. That is my understanding. So if that is the case, do we expect that the Columbia City Council and Columbia Power and Water will then be voting to reduce the rates of the taxpayers, reduce the rates of the water users, consistent with the amount of money that they had increased the rates in order to pay back this money that they're now no longer going to get? The state has decided to not offer that loan for the purpose of building this treatment facility and building the intake on the Duck River because of the strain that it would put on the Duck River. I don't have all of the details as to why the decision was made. I was just told earlier today the decision was made. I want to pass it along to you. Also, a little breaking news. The Supreme Court just ruled 6-3 that green card holders can be stripped of their legal status if they have any pending criminal charges when trying to re-enter the United States of America. The three liberal justices, Sotomayor, Ketanji Brown Jackson, and the other one, what's the other? Elena Kagan, they all dissented because they don't understand the Constitution, particularly Ketanji Brown Jackson. One way or the other. It's not because they're female. It's just because they don't understand the Constitution. Amy Coney Barrett's up there, and she seems to understand it reasonably well. So that's going on as well. Discussing, the reflecting pool. So that's what started us on all of this. If you've been listening since 3 o'clock, it's been a hell of a 2 hours. I've gone through waves of depression regarding the future of the United States of America, and I've been talking with you about that. The reflecting pool story, $16 million, I guess, the Trump administration has spent attempting to, you drain it. You're attempting to get pumping systems back operational. Apparently, the Obama administration attempted to do this as well. The Obama administration you don't know any of this because the mainstream media didn't cover any of this because the mainstream media does not give one damn about how much waste, fraud, and abuse goes on in Washington, D.C. When a Democrat's doing it, they care a tremendous amount when a Republican's doing it, especially this Republican, which they have a little bit of a derangement syndrome over. That said, Barack Obama apparently spent between $34 and $36 million on attempting to repair the reflecting pool and to stop the algae growth within the reflecting pool. The Trump administration spent about $14 million in an attempt to do that as well. It did not work. No question about it. There's also been some vandalism that's going on because of negative media coverage over it. Apparently, liberals hate Trump more than they love their country, and so they went about trying to slash the thing. I don't know to what extent that created the algae problem that exists. One way or the other, it's not been repaired or corrected as of yet. I just find it humorous that the mainstream media does not care about the expenditure of money until such time as a Republican does it, and they sure as hell don't. They applaud the beautification of Washington, D.C. when there's a Democrat in office, but when Donald Trump, in good faith, attempts to beautify Washington, D.C., they're going to condemn it. In the meantime, liberals have lamented the idea of people getting arrested over the fact that they are doing things in the reflecting pool they ought not do. Sadly, it is where we are in this country. That the political left doesn't care about our monuments. They don't care about our memories. They don't care about our history. Did we learn nothing from the Summer of Love in 2020, where they attempted to tear all of our monuments down? They will trash these things at their whim. And then suddenly they are all defensive over something like the building of a ballroom, something that presidents, since I've been alive, have said that we've needed in Washington, D.C. That's really all I have to say about the reflecting pool, except that hopefully we'll get it right. You want these things to look nice. You want the nation's capital as the front door of the United States of America to look pretty, and hopefully they'll get it going with minimal cost to the taxpaying citizen, and those who are damaging the property need to be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. It's Mark's turn. Hey, Mark, how are you?
Hey, I gotta correct you know that they didn't put a liner in the reflecting pool. They painted it. So to vandalize, what they did was they did a crappy job painting. The paint started flaking up. It wasn't slashed or anything like that because they painted it. They showed them on camera painting it when they drained it. So I don't know where people vandalizing something that was painted on. If they did a bad job painting it and the paint starts flaking up, that's another story. But that's not from vandalism. And it's just, that's Trump. I like some of the stuff he does, but then some of the stuff he does, I'm thinking, how do you open up your mouth? How do you even sleep at night sometimes? Just because he's just telling bald-faced lies. He knows that liner there wasn't a liner. It was painted. They painted it to seal it. Okay, is what they did to the liner. So I don't understand how that could be vandalized unless the paint wasn't put on properly, and when they filled it back up, it started flaking up. That makes more sense, does it not?
Do you think that there's video of this?
Yeah, I've seen videos of them painting it. They didn't put a liner down.
No. I mean the video of the suspected vandalism or the accused vandals.
I've seen people in the water, but it wasn't being. They were good. It's like the one ABC reporter. He was showing that where it was flaking up.
No. I mean, there's no. Wait, hold on, Mark. There's no question that the paint job did not work. So both of these things can be true at the same time. The paint job.
Really.
No. Mark, I've tried to let you finish. Can I finish?
Yes, sir. I'm sorry.
Okay. So cannot both of these things be true at the same time? That one, there are types of paint that will peel, right?
Yes.
Right. So and obviously you had a peeling problem and an algae problem that came back after Donald Trump touted that he had, declared it solved and fixed and it's beautiful again, right? So, and we know that. I mean, he made the declaration and then it didn't work. I mean, it didn't work. I mean, there's no question about it didn't work. I mean, it didn't work. It didn't work. We agree on that?
Yes.
Okay. Is it possible that people were vandalizing the reflecting pool too?
I think, yeah.
Okay, then fair.
But
that's all.
I get, but what he was insinuating was people were going out there and taking a knife, and he actually said
No, he said that. He said that there was a 350-foot gash, and he says that he has evidence of that, and I'm waiting to see if he does.
How many times has Trump said that he's got evidence of stuff that he's never showed us?
Like what? Well, I mean, I'm sure he has.
Yeah, I mean, he says it all the time,
and by the way, Mark, sometimes he's right, and the media never follows up. For example, Donald Trump said that Trump Tower was being wiretapped. Was he right or wrong?
Oh, he was right.
100% right. And the media did what to him at the time?
They crucified him.
They lampooned him. So I've learned over experience to kind of wait and see. I'm not defending Trump on this reflecting pool. I'm fascinated with the amount of time and energy the mainstream media is spending on the reflecting pool. Meantime, we have evidence that Anthony Fauci lied his ass off to the world and people died as a result, and the media won't cover a bit of it. That's what angers me. That's what frustrates me.
And I'll agree with it. He needs to be exposed for that. He does. I mean, I don't dispute that at all. Okay, and I mean, I get that. I got one more quick thing about the debt, real quick.
And by the way, have you not? I'm getting a flood. Before we go away from it, and I'll get back to the debt for a minute, Mark. I want to give you time on that front. But I'm getting a flood of text messages asking if you've not seen the video of the cut liner that was in the reflecting pool.
It's not a liner. It's a paint job. There's a difference.
What word paint? So the cut paint. So the vandalism exists, but you're frustrated because we're calling it a liner, not paint. So you agree, do you agree that there was vandalism?
Yeah, if somebody saw it started to peel up and they reached out and they said, "Hey, I'll reach down."
No. The video shows that someone intentionally cut it.
Well, they didn't know what they were doing because they were trying to cut paint, not cut a damn liner.
Have you ever painted a pool, Mark?
Yes.
Have you? I have too. Do you know what type of paint did you use when you painted your pool?
It's a thicker base paint. It's a very thicker
it's an epoxy, right?
Yeah. But it's got to be sealed properly before you put the water back on.
It's an epoxy that seals, and they didn't do it properly. Obviously, nobody's debating that it got done right. It obviously didn't get done right. But you seem, I mean, if you want to get stuck on the idea of a liner versus a paint job, once the epoxy and the sealant goes down, if it comes back up, it's going to come up almost like a liner. I mean, I get what you're saying. I don't want to argue the point, but I think both can be true that the job was done poorly and incorrectly and embarrassingly. All right, and a-holes were attempting to vandalize the reflecting pool because they hate Donald Trump. Both of those things can be true at the same time.
There was people trying to make it look bad.
Okay,
you know. No, I don't dispute that. My point is that I was trying to make it out that it was a botched job, obviously, and people were, people said, "Hey, I'm gonna make this look worse," and they did make it look worse. Okay, and I mean that's pretty obvious.
Six people have been arrested, Mark.
Yeah, I heard that they were arrested for sticking their hand in the water, not necessarily doing anything, too. I heard that they were arresting people for touching the water, and maybe that's against the law to touch the water. If it is, then I guess they broke the law. Okay, there's a degree. You got to put it in perspective. What did they do to get arrested? Okay, we've heard. There's different stories out there.
I've heard a lot of things about Donald Trump over the years.
Oh, I'm not disputing that. And Donald Trump is known for telling you telling you exactly what he wants you to, what he wants you to hear. And but I can tell you, I'd like to make one quick statement about the debt because you were making a good point.
Hey, I'm gonna get to the debt. Let me ask you one final question about the Washington D.C. area. Do you support beautifying Washington D.C. for the 250th birthday of our country?
Yeah. Yes, I do.
Oh, good. All right. What's your question about the debt? Or what's your thought about the debt?
Well, you have to go back to the 90s, the last time we had a balanced budget. And that was when Republicans and Democrats actually worked together to do some austerity, or I butchered that word, I apologize, where they made some serious cuts in spending to get about, and they actually raised taxes. Clinton was able to take advantage of George Bush's tax increase from 92 or 91, whatever year it was that he did that increase. When the economy turned around at the higher rate, they had more revenue coming in on top of that when they started doing some austerity. I'm butchering that word and I apologize.
I think you're saying austerity. I think that's right.
Yeah, austerity, yes. Thank you very much.
Yeah, that's problem.
But they closed some military bases around the world and in the United States. It was hard cuts that they made. And they also went to the welfare program, and I'll be the first person to say Obama reversed a lot of things that they did then with the welfare program, which they actually put timelines on how long you could draw welfare in the 90s, which was a great thing. Okay, Obama reversed that. Okay, but when George Bush II come into power and 9/11 come along, all bets were off. They just decided to say the checkbook, we got a blank check, we're going to write as much, and they haven't stopped spending money, whether it's Republican or Democrat. They have just, and they don't care, and it's sad. Because to settle this, they're going to have to make some hard choices, and I think that includes, like this great big beautiful bill, it's just, that was a $1 trillion bloat on the deficit. Is what it was. It's just throwing, a $1 trillion that threw into the economy by giving it back to the people, but we just borrowed more money to do it.
What's your current tax rate? Do you know?
Me and my wife make about $150,000 a year.
Yeah.
So you think we're about 20%.
Yeah, that makes sense. Do you think yours needs to go up?
I didn't say that it doesn't.
Mark, I'm not arguing with you. I'm just asking. Do you think your taxes need to go up?
I think that we have to look at things differently than what they are now to pay down this debt.
Right. The reason that I ask the question in that way, the reason that I bring it home to you and your family and your own budget is that I do not believe that we have a taxation problem in the United States of America. We have a massive, massive overspending problem.
I agree with that too. I think it's going to take I just don't think you can cut the spending enough to balance the budget. I just don't think it's mathematically possible.
Of course you can.
What I'm saying.
Of course you can.
We're going to have.
Of course you can. We've uncovered multiple billions of dollars in fraud in Minnesota alone.
Okay. But we need to look at the defense. Why are they not looking at the Defense Department?
I mean, I'm all about cutting money from the Defense Department. Mark, I've given you 9 minutes and I'm done. Thank you for the telephone call. The videos and the appearances that I've seen on the reflecting pool, it was put down like a rubberized paint. It was coming up in sheets, much like a liner. You got stuck on the two words. That's all well and good. Number two, we have a spending problem in America. We don't have a taxation problem in America. We send the federal government trillions of dollars of our money on an annual basis, and they overspend by in excess of $1 trillion every single year, money that could be found and saved. That's what Elon Musk was trying to do, and sadly, he got shut down by the swamp, which is why I've been saying that the swamp is winning when it comes to Donald Trump versus the swamp. It's 23 after the hour on Super Talk. Hello, friends. Matt Murphy for U.S. Pest. What bugs you? Well, whatever it is, if it's creepy crawlies, spiders, ticks, fleas, ants, oh my goodness, there's nothing worse. My grandma had a constant battle with sugar ants. That's what she called them, at least. Well, I wish we'd have known U.S. Pest, J.K. and Erica Brister back in the day. I would have called him over to Grandma's house, and he would have taken care of business. They love the United States of America at U.S. Pest, and they hate bugs, and they will get after it. Termite protection. They will correct any issues that you currently have and prevent future issues. On bug service, full service pest control for your home, for your yard. Fleas and ticks don't stand a chance when U.S. Pest is around the corner. Go to uspest.com. That's uspest.com and find out more. Ask about crawl space service. When you make the call that so many others have made, 590-1260. That's 590-1260. Call our friends at U.S. Pest.
Coming up at the bottom of the hour, Iran's president's in Pakistan as part of peace negotiations. We'll have a report on that. More on the shooting at a library in Northern California. And Gallatin residents may not get the sizzle they were hoping for on Independence Day. We'll explain. That's coming up at 5:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
You know, it took 7 years to build the reflecting pool. A long time. You've been, right? Did I ask you this the other day? Yesterday, I guess it was. Built in between 1914 and 1922. It was dedicated May 30th of 1922, following the dedication of the Lincoln Memorial. During its construction, it was nicknamed by some sources as a water mirror. When originally constructed, it was approximately 2,028 feet and 2,028 feet long and 167 feet wide. The perimeter of the pool, 4,392 feet around. It was completely rebuilt between 2010 and 2012 for $34 or so million. It was originally built with an asphalt and tile bottom, was replaced with concrete in 2009, and 2010, which created kind of the algae situation that we're currently dealing with. This was during the American Recovery and Reinvestment Act of 2009. The National Park Service reconstructed the Lincoln Memorial Reflecting Pool. Construction on the 18-month, $30+ million project began in 2010, and it was finished by 2012. And now there are renovations going on to try to get it blue on the bottom, and that hasn't worked. By the way, just about every reporting agency that I've seen recognizes that they're laying down that which is called a liner, which is being pulled up, but I'm not here to get into semantics. Look, I got like 30 seconds for the seminar caller. Go ahead.
Gee, 30 seconds, thanks. So I'm listening. I've been listening the last 10 minutes, and I feel more stupid than ever. Are people in Tennessee dumb enough to not realize that 95% of what comes out of Trump's mouth is a lie? How effing dumb do you people need to be?
Is that it?
That dumb?
Is that it? Is that it? Is that all?
I could... you clowns think, but Trump built the New York skyline. So those of us that live in the shadow of the New York skyline, we've known forever what a charlatan and clown this guy is.
Yeah, you're in Jersey. You're in Jersey, right?
That's correct.
Yeah,
that's the shadow of New York City.
I just recall from our previous conversations. All right, that's your 30 seconds. I'll see you later. 31 after the hour. Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
"31 minutes past 5 p.m. I'm Jay Harper with your top stories. We've got a traffic report and a weather forecast coming up. Iran's president, he's in Islamabad, Pakistan today to discuss the memorandum of understanding with the U.S. The White House says that talks over Iran's nuclear program continue, with top officials claiming that Iran is willing to allow nuclear weapons inspectors in the country. More from ABC's Britt Clinette in Jerusalem on what the president posted on the U.S. unfreezing billions of dollars of Iranian funds and lifting oil sanctions.
By the U.S. temporarily lifting oil sanctions on Iran, what it is opening the door for Tehran to sell oil in American currency, in U.S. dollars, for the first time in almost 2 decades. Now, despite Iran saying there's no timeline or saying there's no commitment on allowing those inspectors in, President Trump, he is defending this deal with Iran, claiming in posts on social media that Iran has fully and completely agreed to these high-level, limitless nuclear inspections, he says.
We now head to California, where a shooting at a library in the northern part of the state left 2 people dead, as well as a young girl injured and an 18-year-old in custody. Chico Police Chief Billy Aldridge described officers racing to the scene as 911 dispatchers guided them and listened in on the horror unfolding inside the Butte County Library late yesterday afternoon, with first responders on scene within 2 minutes of the call and an apprehension of the suspect in 4 minutes. Aldred said the shooter is an 18-year-old named Bradley Scott Sayer of Chico, California.
He has no known connections to any of the victims in the library. And based on information revealed during the interviews, our detectives believe the suspect was influenced by the Columbine High School shooting.
We now come back to Middle Tennessee, where Gallatin City leaders are looking to take some popular 4th of July items off store shelves in the name of safety. Gallatin Codes and the fire department are proposing a complete ban on sparkler-type products. That would include wire sparklers, cone fountains, torches, wheels, and toy smoke devices. The U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission reports that nationally, sparkler injuries accounted for about 1,700 ER visits a couple of years ago, and these did involve mostly burns to the head, face, hands, and fingers. The Gallatin City Council, they were supposed to take up that proposal today. We've not heard what the result of that is just yet. But officials say the goal is to reduce fire risks, injuries, and property damage. That's the latest news. Another traffic report, another weather report. They're coming up. I'm Jay Harper, WTN News. Trying to clear this wreck on the East Bank, 24 eastbound at the Shelby Avenue exit. Old Hickory Boulevard north of I-40 East in Hermitage, a crash. And we still have that incident. It's a wreck and a vehicle fire. 40 eastbound just past the Lebanon exit 239. They pushed it over to the right shoulder, though. Harding Pike east of Page Road in the Belle Meade area. We have a crash reported there as well. I'm Jay Harper.
Hello, friends. Matt Murphy for the Wellness Institute of Nashville. Dr. Kevin Mitchell, Dr. Ashley, and the rest of the Wellness Institute team, they appreciate you. And if you're feeling great, they say congratulations. If you feel good all over your body, they say way to go. If you wake up and you're just refreshed and ready to go, what a day. Congrats. Now, for most of you, you got some pain. For most of you, maybe you're feeling it in your ankles, in your knees, in your hips, in your elbows, in your back, in your back, in your back, in your back. And for those of you, the Wellness Institute, Dr. Kevin and Dr. Ashley say, come on in. They're ready for you. With no surgery, no pain pills, no downtime, they can assist in getting you back ready again, getting you going again without pain. And that's what it's all about, friends. Their Medical Bay 1 is futuristic and incredible. The Hydro Wave, also futuristic, incredible, and obviously the spinal decompression that has worked so well on my back to alleviate my pain and get me out on the golf course again, ride the motorcycle, etc. If you want to get back to an active lifestyle, it's time to get to the Wellness Institute of Nashville. Friends, pain is bad. That's why their website's called painisbad.com. 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 Or call 615-246-5009. 246-5009. Tell my friend Dr. Kevin, Dr. Ashley, and the rest of the team that Matt Murphy sent you to the Wellness Institute of Nashville. All right, several of you want to talk about the reflecting pool. James, Kirk, Mark. Dwayne just wants to talk about the good old US of A. We're going to do all of those things coming up in mere moments on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I appreciate you listening. Appreciate your time and consideration. Now, I have been advised, and frankly, I've been corrected by our good friend Representative Scott Cepicky, who's going to be here tomorrow. And I think he's out on the hayfield on the tractor today. He's in the hayfield today. You know how they do down there in good old Murray County, my new adopted home county. We're not like you folk in Davidson County. We got country ways down there, Jackson. You hear me?
Mm-hmm.
What's wrong over there?
I'm fine.
You good?
I'm good.
You were ranting and raving in there about something. What were you talking about?
Nothing.
Nothing? Okay. Cepicky said that there's been a month-long moratorium. So I was incorrect. The vote on the approval of the loan has been suspended for a month to access or assess other options. That is what I've been told. So I have had. So it's not a permanent shutdown. Hopefully, it will become at least a month from now a permanent shutdown. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, you know what the news is. Jay Harper's been telling you the headlines all afternoon long. Matt Murphy's been opining on said same. It's time for Nincompoops in the News!
Nincompoops in the News!
That's right. You know what the news is? Let's look all across the great volunteer state of Tennessee, all across these United States of America. Nay, the globe. We shall find the Nincompoops, and we will present them to you. Jay Harper is back in News Closet B. Hello, Mr. Harper.
Good afternoon, Matt.
How's it going, sir?
Oh, it's going.
I heard you giggling in there when I hung up on the seminar caller.
Yeah, so you'll have to enlighten me. Why does that caller, or perhaps any caller, get that sort of designation as a seminar?
Well, because what seminar callers, the great Rush Limbaugh called them seminar callers. There was a time back in the day, and I think this was the genesis of the phrase, where Rush Limbaugh became such an influential, important part of the American political fabric that there were people that would attend groups where they would go over how to get through on his radio show, and he would call them seminar callers because they attended seminars to learn how to combat his incredible debating skill and his subjects and his points. So he would call them seminar callers. I call them seminar callers. Have for a long time. Seminar callers are just basically these sad sacks. I mean, this guy's a sad sack. You know, he records himself. Jackson, you found him on YouTube, didn't you?
Yeah, and he calls himself the seminar caller.
Does he now?
Wow, he does.
Well, there you go.
Okay. Maybe you inspired to call himself that.
I would like to believe that we were the inspiration behind the name. But he records himself and posts his seminar calls on his pathetic YouTube channel, which gets 30 or 40 views. What are you shaking your head?
Like 4 or 5.
Oh, 4 or 5 views. So nobody sees this, but he calls me. He calls. Does he call? He used to call Hand.
He calls Hand more than us.
Does he?
Yeah.
And he calls radio stations all over the country.
Yeah. Okay.
So, and those that let him in. I think my good friend Charlie James over in South Carolina lets him on.
I know Charlie.
You know Charlie?
Yeah, man. He used to be in Charleston at WTA.
Come on.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah. When I worked Charleston radio, he was across the way.
Charlie James was the morning show host with his cohort Jill. They were Jill and Charlie in the morning on US 107 when I worked at a country music station in Augusta, Georgia.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yep. He's in Greenville now.
I think so. Yeah. I think Greenville, Spartanburg area. Mm-hmm. Doing a great job.
Are y'all just delaying because I won yesterday?
Yeah, that's exactly. Excuse me, Jackson. The adults are talking. Jay, anything else?
It was my fault. I was just. You have reminded me now. I do recall Rush calling them that.
Seminar callers. Yeah, those individuals, they've got a little script and they've got an agenda and they'll lie to get their way on the radio, and that's fine. I play with him. I bat him around like a cat with a mouse, and then we throw him to the side when it is his time. Jackson, who won yesterday? I guess that answers that.
Hear ye, hear ye. The king of nincompoops has secured another victory.
Congratulations, Jackson. Glad to hear it. Way to go.
Ready to hear the order?
Yes.
Williams, Harper, Murphy up the rear.
Okay.
He just likes saying Murphy up the rear.
Yeah.
It's like he's 12.
13.
And he's learned a new little trick.
And a half.
Jackson, go right ahead, sir.
Nurse charged with felony for pickleball rage.
Ooh. Oh. Ah.
During a post-game dispute between pickleball players, a Florida woman reportedly struck a male victim in the head with her paddle, leaving him bloodied and with an injury to his face, according to investigators who have charged the alleged assailant with aggravated battery with a deadly weapon. The May 31st incident occurred at the pickleball courts in Treaty Park in St. Augustine, Florida, a city about 40 miles from Jacksonville, and has resulted in the filing of a felony case against Michelle Bannister, a 47-year-old nurse. According to court records, during one doubles game that Sunday, a dispute arose between players about the retrieval of a ball. Upon completion of the match, Ron Banat went to speak with the defendant's son regarding critique of his playing style.
Ron who?
Banat. B-A-N-A-T.
I don't. That's Banat the way you pronounce his name. I don't.
Banat?
One way or the other. Ronnie.
I'm going Banat.
Rono.
Banat.
Ron Man.
A Treaty Park regular is a devoted pickleball player and a member of the Facebook group St. Augustine Pickleball Group. Police say that during the course of the beef between Banat and her son Bannister, interjected herself into the argument and then struck the victim in the head several times with a pickleball paddle.
His name was Bannister Banat?
No, Bannister is the woman who hit him with the paddle. Banat is the victim.
Oh, my apologies. Go ahead.
Leaving injury to his face that caused several cuts and a large amount of blood. When cops responded to the pickleball courts, Bannister allegedly provided them with a fake name, Ayana Lee. Bannister is a licensed nurse practitioner who lives 2 miles from Treaty Park in a home she purchased in 2019. When questioned by police, Bannister claims she was defending her son. However, officers reported there did not appear, based on victim and witness statements, to be an imminent threat to life, limb, or a propensity of violence about to occur. Bannister has a master's degree from the University of Alabama, and prior to her nursing career, served in the Marine Corps as a helicopter mechanic.
Now we get it.
An online bio describes her as an active mom who participates in many sports and activities with her children and lists her favorite pursuits as traveling, hiking, and playing beach volleyball and pickleball.
And hitting people in the face.
I
wonder if she yelled in your face when she did it.
You, ma'am, are an nincompoop.
She is. Nincompoopery all around. Jay Harper, you're a nincompoop, sir.
Well, I mean, heck, she was just creating her own patients.
Yeah,
we got bloody them and then fix them right.
Let's get them fixed.
Yes,
charge them
indeed.
and get them out the door.
All right, Florida's reputation for bizarre traffic stops already pretty well established, but even by standards there, this one kind of stands out a little bit. According to the Florida Highway Patrol, troopers pulled over a Honda Civic for speeding and ended up discovering enough open White Claw cans inside the car to stock a small backyard party.
Uh-huh.
The most surprising part might not be the alleged intoxication. It could be that someone managed to fit 34 open cans of White Claw on the passenger seat and still have room to drive.
Yikes.
The incident occurred on June 13th along I-75 near mile marker 280 in Pasco County. According to troopers, they observed a Honda Civic traveling at more than 90 miles an hour before initiating a traffic stop. During the encounter, the trooper reportedly determined that the driver appeared heavily intoxicated and noticed dozens of open alcoholic beverage containers inside the vehicle. Photos released by the agency show an alarming collection of White Claw cans piled across the front passenger seat area. Investigators counted 34 of them. He was arrested and charged with driving under the influence before being sent to the pokey. His blood alcohol content, 0.117, which is nearly 50% above the threshold for impairment. So thank goodness they caught this guy. He certainly could have killed somebody.
Man, that dude's a nincompoop.
Yes, indeed. 34. I mean, and there's a photo here, but, anyway, 34 empty White Claw cans in the front seat of this nincompoop.
How, what's your max White Claw, Jackson? What do you think? Most in a 24-hour period.
That's tough.
You don't want to admit it?
Yeah.
I think you know the range.
I know the range.
I just feel like it's a little,
In college, I mean,
because you're not a beer guy.
I'm not.
You're more of a...
Too filling.
You're more of a what is that, neutral? What is that called?
Neutral. I like a neutral.
Or a Truly. White Claw is kind of the gutter trash of those types of...
I like to think of a White Claw as a nice fastball. You know why?
Uh-huh.
Because it's just a basic, it's going to go straight
down the middle.
Straight down the middle.
You gave me hell when we were at the race when we got what was those? What did we get?
Neutral.
You got a neutral, and you're like, you're done already. It's like, well, yes. It's like drinking flavored water.
Water, I know.
Like, dang, Matt. I'm going to guess 20.
For me?
Yeah.
Ooh. That's a little high, but fair.
By the way, I liked the story better when Jay Harper was doing it.
What do you mean?
That story that he just told. That's a repeat, but we weren't going to.
I asked.
Was it the day I was gone?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. All right. See, because I asked Jackson, I said, man, I've got this White Claw thing.
No, it's a great story.
Has that been done before?
I think Weaver did it.
Okay. Since it's a few days old, I figured, you're
going to get credit for it. Y'all don't judge Harper for doing a repeat.
Well, I was out. He did his due diligence, but I was also out last week.
And that's the problem. See, I think it was during a time when you were out. All right, mine, Melbourne, Australia. Look, this is nincompoopery at its finest, only because this is garbage, and I think that I could win the Guinness Book of World Record on this. Joseph McGrail Bateup, B-A-T-E-U-P, Bateup, is an Australian professional air conditioner cleaner and honorary town crier. He has now been recognized by the Guinness Book of World Records as the world's loudest person.
You could beat him.
I think I got this beat. Guinness Book of World Records last week acknowledged the 58-year-old Canberra resident recorded the loudest shout by an individual. See, I think I shouted louder than this, like on this show earlier today. He yelled now, the word now, N-O-W, at 122.4 decibels. That broke the previous record of 121.7 decibels set by Northern Ireland school teacher Annalisa Flanagan in 1994. She yelled an ear-piercing quiet, as in quiet.
They haven't heard me on a Tennessee third down in Neyland Stadium.
Man, I did. I heard you above all of the other 104,000 people on a day back last fall. I heard you yell the loudest F-bomb of my life when your kicker missed that dang thing.
No, that's not true. You know why?
Because you thought he made it.
Yeah, because where I was sitting, I thought he made it.
Okay, maybe when we scored the touchdown pass. Okay, the fourth down touchdown pass. It is the noise range for 122.4 decibels is in the range of a chainsaw, a jet aircraft taking off, and an ambulance siren at close range. The record attempt was not something McGrail Bateup could train for, he said. It was just something that you come about naturally. There's no way that you can actually practice for it. You just have to keep it for the day, especially with a world record attempt. Took me 7 attempts for just one word, which was the word now. My voice was shot for the next couple of days as well. Husky, terrible. So no, you can't really practice for this, but it's a lot of fun when you're doing it. McGrail Bateup considered himself the world's loudest man rather than the world's loudest person. There was no previous record for the world's loudest man. I'm pleased that she, that is Flanagan, gets to keep her record. She's still the loudest woman in the world, and I'm the loudest man in the world, and that's the way that it ought to be. McGrail Bateup stumbled upon Flanagan's record when searching for the Guinness Book of World Records unsuccessfully for feats in the realm of town crying. He became competitively loud when he was appointed the town crier of the national capital, Canberra, in 2017. Honorary and part-time role, he makes announcements at community events and car shows. I think I could whip this dude. I think I could whip this dude easy. And I just would need to know what word I should train for. Now seems a little difficult. Now. I think quiet seems a little easier. But this guy is an nincompoop because there's no way that he's louder than me. That's how we play Nincompoops in the News. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. We'll get to your calls on the reflecting pool for those who want to join in. 615-737-9986. 615-737-9986. I also have a question for you that was posed to me earlier today. And I don't know that I had an answer for it because I don't feel like I've been here for the length of time necessary to answer the question. The question. Bill Lee is in his final year as governor of the state of Tennessee. What is Bill Lee's legacy? What is Bill Lee's legacy? I'll ask the question next on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Friends, whether you're a home builder, whether you're a cabinet dealer, a remodeler, or just a home owner, Timberland Cabinets is the place for you. They believe in relationships, and they develop them on a daily basis. I want you to write this telephone number down, or if you call, they are Debbie. I don't think Debbie's there right now because it's 5:55 in the evening. However, you can leave a message. They will call you directly back. You'll be first thing tomorrow morning. And here's the deal. The beauty and functionality of their cabinetry is unmatched. And it's right here in the middle of Tennessee, right? I love this. Made in America is one thing. Made in Tennessee is another thing. I toured this facility, and it reinforced my belief that we make the best. We have the brightest workers, the finest workers on planet Earth, and we make the best quality cabinets in America right here in Middle Tennessee and Columbia. Now, they have a showroom in Franklin. They can show around some of their cabinets there. You can also go to the Columbia factory. There's a showroom, beautiful showroom right in the front of the factory. They'll even let you walk through the factory if you desire. Premium quality cabinets built for beauty, durability, and everyday functionality. Folks, the kitchen is the heart of your home, and you want the heart to be healthy. And if you don't feel like your heart's healthy right now, it's time to make it better with brand new cabinets. It is more affordable than you think. Go to TimberlandCabinets.com to check out some of their incredible designs. Timberland Cabinets, or call 931-499-7170, 499-7170.
1 minute past 6 p.m. I'm Jay Harper with your top stories. The forecast and an updated traffic report are on the way. The U.S. Senate approving one of the most far-reaching pieces of housing legislation to come up for a while and up for a vote in more than 35 years, but it was not unanimous. Here's ABC's Christiane Cordero.
The House is set to take up the 21st Century Road to Housing Act this week after the Senate last night passed it with overwhelming bipartisan support. 5 Republican senators voted against the bill. Among them, Florida Senator Rick Scott, who tells Fox News he doesn't think it'll help.
It's at the local level.
As a final step, the president's signature would make this bill law.
Well, it could be a new lead in the search for Nancy Guthrie, the Today host Savannah Guthrie's mother, who's been missing since February. ABC has learned that there was a second note sent to a TV station in Tucson, Arizona in the days after her disappearance. That note saying that Guthrie was abducted and had died. More from ABC's Aaron Katursky.
The FBI believes the 2 notes came from the same sender, but investigators have so far been unable to determine who that is. Savannah said she believed the notes were legitimate, but never gave up on her mother. Investigators are still working to identify the armed man seen lurking at Nancy Guthrie's front door. They're also testing a hair found at the home, along with a mixed DNA sample, hoping those clues will lead to the kidnapper.
Today, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled that Border Patrol agents have more authority to deny certain green card holders. ABC's Devin Dwyer explains.
The justices today, the conservative majority now bolstering the ability of federal border agents to remove green card holders, lawful permanent residents who are accused of committing a crime when they come to a port of entry. In this case, involved a person coming back from China, arriving at JFK Airport, had been charged with a crime in New Jersey. The border agent said, you are no longer going to be a legal permanent resident.
A federal judge has temporarily blocked efforts to restrict what SNAP recipients can purchase. Channel 4's Lauren Lowry has more.
A federal judge has blocked efforts to limit what SNAP recipients can actually buy. Earlier this year, state and federal lawmakers in more than 20 states, including Tennessee, decided that SNAP benefits could not be used to buy things like soda, energy drinks, candy, dessert. Now a federal judge has temporarily blocked the Trump administration from allowing states to enact that legislation.
More than 600,000 Tennesseans received SNAP benefits. The new restrictions were to take effect July 31st. That's the latest news, weather and traffic on the way. I'm Jay Harper, WTN News. Looking at traffic here, a little after 6 o'clock, we have still this accident, 24 eastbound at Briley Parkway South. That would be exit 54. Also, Ford, well, that one just disappeared. We've got another one, 40 eastbound before Stewart's Ferry Pike in the Hermitage area, a crash there. And also Elm Hill Pike at Spence Lane, a wreck reported. I'm Jay Harper.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I apologize for laughing as I come back on the air. We were prepping for the final hour of the show, at least I was here in the room. Jackson was screaming and yelling about something in the control area. I don't really know what it was. Very angry in there. It must be a closer vote than I anticipated. We got trashed by someone on the YouTube chat, Jackson.
What'd they say?
Said Jackson, all right, of the nincompoop stories, said Jackson's was lame, Harper's was a repeat,
right,
and Murphy's sucked bleep.
Yep. I saw that.
And I'm like, wow. It's a tough,
hey, I'd rather be lame than the other two.
Tough.
Repeat gets you disqualified, and I don't want to know what yours gets.
Yes, but you led me astray, Jackson. But
true.
But I forgive you because apparently you weren't here.
I don't know. Jackson probably knew about it. That's the way he does, Jay.
Oh, yeah. Now that you mention it. I saw that story. Matter of fact, I saw both your stories. In fact, Matt.
Yes.
Your story I had as part of a newscast earlier today.
Well, here's the deal. I mean, some are saying that my guy wasn't a nincompoop. I mean, the nincompoopery is in the fact that we have a Guinness Book of World Record for the loudest yell to begin with.
That's true.
But, some were saying that, that's not nincompoopery. That's impressive. I guess maybe you could see it that way. I mean, 124 decibels is a lot of decibels. I would give you that. So, I don't know. Y'all get to vote. Vote early. Vote often. 615-737-9986. You can vote over there on the text line or on the YouTube chat. Voting open for another minute or so. Many of you want to talk about the reflecting pool, and I'm here for the game. Let's talk to who's been holding the longest. Is it James or Mark? 2 or 5? I'll just go with Mark. Hello, Mark.
Hey, man, how you doing?
Mark, I'm fabulous. I'm glad you called me.
They should have hired a swimming pool company to do the reflecting pool, not a paint company. There's two different kind of companies.
Yeah, I mean the look of the guy that's in charge of the company doesn't do them any favors either. Have you seen a picture of this guy?
Yeah, and the bottom line is, we went around for 20 years and didn't do nothing but repair and swimming pools, gun night pools at hotels and motels for 20 years. So you hired the wrong person. That's all I can say. And it's probably not Trump's fault. He shouldn't have. It's his fault, but really not. He told somebody to get it done, and they just got a paint company. Half-ass Willie. Excuse my language.
Careful. So would you? So you've done.
I have one other thing.
Hold on, but you've done this kind of work, Mark. You've done this kind of work.
Yeah, you got to prep the pool. They didn't prep it right, and they didn't use the right stuff, and it flaked off. I mean, that's all it is to it. They hired the wrong people. Should have hired a swimming pool company that done gun night pools.
What would you have recommended to do for this pool?
have nothing to say about that. But I do have one more comment. Bill Clinton didn't do nothing except for tax the Social Security people to help on the deficit. That's what I got to say about Mark. That other Mark was talking about Bill Clinton.
Yeah. Well, I suppose they utilized the new taxation through the first George Bush administration. Mark, thank you. I didn't mean to. I wasn't trying to challenge you there. I was just genuinely curious what you would have done differently for the, 4,300 linear feet of. I mean, I don't know how many square feet it is. 167 by 2,000, whatever that is from a square footage area. That's a big old pool. It's not very deep, so you get a lot of algae. I wouldn't begin to understand how to fix it. I wouldn't begin to understand where to start. You add the obvious problems with what happened with the attempts, the reported attempts, the alleged attempts at vandalism, and then you got this going on. James is next up with a thought on it. Hey, James.
Hey, Matt. Didn't they just dump peroxide in the pool last week?
Oh, I haven't heard. I genuinely have not been paying that much attention to this story, so that it maybe I don't know.
Okay,
who's? What do you mean? Who's they?
The Department of the Interior.
Yeah, I don't know.
Was ordered to dump peroxide to combat the algae. So if they dump peroxide, wouldn't that cause a chemical reaction with the liner that they put in? Possibly.
Maybe, I don't know. I mean, I try not to pretend that I know about things that I don't know about, and I don't know anything about what peroxide would do with it.
What makes you the best radio show?
Well, I mean, I don't feel like chlorine.
You were just honest about it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if they did. I mean, why would they put peroxide?
Because they were trying to. That's what I was reading last week. Was they were pouring peroxide to try to combat the algae blooms.
Yeah, maybe so. And, so the suggestion is, James, that they put peroxide in there. The peroxide then interacts with the pool liner. The pool liner has problems. And, yeah.
Correct.
It's entirely possible. I would think that you would use chlorine to combat algae.
I would agree with that. But I'm no pool expert either, sir.
Well, perhaps we have a few on the line that can help us.
Well, thank you, sir, for taking my call, and I hope you have a great night, sir.
James, thank you for the call. I don't know what peroxide would do. I mean, was James joking with me? Did I miss the gag? James was kind of giggling at the end there. I don't know. Maybe I missed the gag. Peroxide in the pool. Maybe I'm missing it. Algae side would work. Oh, peroxide is an oxidizer like chlorine, but reacts faster. Okay, well, 7576 indicates that maybe this was an actual something that they did. They should have used a flock. Y'all ever been to the reflecting pool? It's a big old pool, y'all. I mean, it's not deep. It's not deep at all. It's like this deep. It's itty bitty deep. It's like a foot deep. It's not even that. I don't even know. I don't know. Maybe it's a foot. It's not a lot. It's just enough to reflect. And they were trying to paint it blue, and it didn't work. Now everybody's upset about it. The mainstream media has reported 1,000. I mean, it's an infinite amount of times more on the reflecting pool than they've reported on Anthony Fauci, because they haven't reported a bit on Anthony Fauci because it doesn't fit their narrative. Which I thought that COVID-19 was a big deal. I thought the coronavirus was a big deal. I thought the pandemic was a big deal. None of the follow-ups are happening because it looks bad for the mainstream media and bad for the people involved that they deified as saints. Al is next with a thought on the pool. Hey, Al.
Howdy. Thank you for taking my call, my friend.
Of course, Al. What's on your mind?
Well, I figure there's only two solutions for that thing.
Yes, sir.
The first one is either fill it full of pennies and put some plexiglass over it, or fill it full of quicksand.
You'd just as soon not have a reflecting pool, huh, Al?
Now, don't nobody need to look at themselves. People are vain enough.
That's a good point. Yeah, I mean, they'll figure it out. Thank you, Al, for the call. They'll figure it out. This algae, situation, which, once again, the media would not be reporting on this at all. Two things happened. Number one, they hate Donald Trump. Number two, Trump made a big deal about it. Trump wants to make America beautiful, make America's capital beautiful for the 250th birthday of our country. And for some reason, the mainstream media is gloating and applauding and just celebrating the idea that they've had troubles doing so. He wanted to paint the bottom of the pool a American blue, like American flag blue, and it did not work. Paint peeling, and some suggested before they did it that it wouldn't work in as much as the blue would attract more algae. Apparently that is true. The algae blooms came back in force. They also had to seal some of the concrete gaps that were created in the aftermath of the repair project that did not take. The pumping system never worked after the Obama administration did it. You won't hear anything about this on the mainstream press because the mainstream press doesn't care about Obama doing it. They care about Trump screwing it up. And that's what they're doing now. 17 after the hour, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. A judge has overruled Tennessee's new exclusion of soda pop and candy from the SNAP program, formerly known as the Food Stamp program, saying the federal government cannot put exclusions on food aid benefits in a blow to the Make America Healthy Again movement in the state of Tennessee. This story from the Tennessean. Tennessee lawmakers voted to seek a federal waiver to exclude soda and candy purchases from the food stamp program, also known as the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, or SNAP. Oh, SNAP! In an effort to, quote, guide families toward healthier options while maximizing taxpayer resources. U.S. Agriculture Secretary Brooke Rollins approved the Tennessee waiver request in December. A 2-year ban was set to take effect on July 31st. On June 22nd, that would be yesterday, a federal district judge, Amy Berman Jackson, ruled that Rollins misinterpreted federal law when she approved the state's request to allow limits on what SNAP recipients can purchase. Tennessee, one of 5 states whose policies were reversed in the ruling. The others, Colorado, Iowa, Nebraska, West Virginia. The USDA approved 23 state applications to restrict the purchase of non-nutritious items like candy and soda. With her solicitation and approval of the pilot projects in this case, the secretary purports to waive not just mere administrative or technical obstacles, but the very definition of food, as was laid down by Congress, Berman wrote. Neither the USDA nor the states can force this square peg into a round hole to avoid the plain language of the statute and requirements of the 2026K, referencing the part of the statute that addresses projects to help improve household health status. Soda is one of the most frequently bought commodities in the SNAP program, according to the USDA, with about 11% of SNAP dollars. 11%. I want you to listen to this for a second. 11% of SNAP money is spent on sugary beverage and candy. Yet this moron judge says we can't restrict that the taxpayers don't have any say in that. Tennessee's waiver was set to restrict the purchase of all purchased food, soda, energy drink, including sugar or corn syrup as the first ingredient. Tennessee's Department of Human Services clarified in May that baby formula would not be excluded. FNS applauds Tennessee and the SNAP team for the efforts that you have made toward the implementation of your SNAP food restriction pilot, said Food and Nutrition Service Administrator Patrick Penn in May. 18 states pursued similar bans in alignment with the Trump administration's Make America Healthy Again initiative. In the Tennessee food stamp program, there were 702,000 participants in the last year. It is the height of absurdity and nonsense to suggest that the taxpaying citizens of the state of Tennessee have no say in the amount of junk food that people who say that they can't afford to buy food for their own children, their own families, put in their buggies. I do believe that there should be a safety net to protect the children. But that is not a carte blanche permission slip for parents, some of whom are not doing everything necessary. I mean, not all. But let me tell you something. Many of the people who find themselves on food stamps don't want to be there. Many of the people that find themselves on food stamps are doing everything in their power to get out of that situation, and they hate the idea that someone else has to supplement their food budget. But many other people are doing this because they can. Many other people don't care. Many of the people who are currently on food stamps are on food stamps because they want to be on food stamps, not because they have to be on food stamps, because they like the idea of working less and getting more. Now, that is a reality. That is a fact. We should incentivize people to get off the program. We should not incentivize people to abuse the program through sugary foods and nonsense and candy and junk. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And oh, by the way, EBT, electronic benefits transfer, food stamps. I've long said that, I used to say that we should have a specific line in the grocery store for food stamp recipients. I've also long said that we underutilize shame in our society. If you feel ashamed about something, that is your conscience, that is your subconscious telling you that something in your life is wrong. And utilized properly, it can be a motivational tool to help you get out of the situation that you find yourself in that's causing you the shame, right? But we have done everything in our power to avoid shame in American society today, and that's causing some of the issues that we see, and that's creating further dependence on the federal government and on the tax-paying citizen. 23 after the hour, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. You know, it's a test. Shane Ring tells me about this. When you walk into a company that purports to be for you when it comes to your health insurance, ask them about open enrollment. And if they tell you, open enrollment's here and you can't do anything until there, and if they start yapping about open enrollment, then you know you're probably in the wrong place. By the way, what are you doing over there anyway? Get over to Shane Ring in Cover Nash. He is your personal health care concierge, and when it comes to health care and health insurance, you don't want it to feel like a mathematics exam with confusing percentages, surprise bills, fine print that bites back. Friends, reliable protection can be had right here in Middle Tennessee with Shane Ring and Cover Nash. Cover Nash works with over 75 top insurance companies with options for any budget and any pre-existing condition. Book now at covernash.com. Call today at covernash.com and find out. Health insurance made simple, finally, with Cover Nash. Shane Ring can assist you, and he will help you manage your insurance. Real health coverage on your terms, not on the government's terms. 615-465-0023, 465-0023 for our friends at Cover Nash.
New housing legislation passes the U.S. Senate, and weather in the news as well as your money news. That's coming up as well at 6:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN. 2222 writes in and says, Matt, what is the actual purpose of the reflecting pool in Washington, D.C.? It is decorative. There is not really a purpose. Just decorative. Just something nice. The design is to get a sheen of water that is not disturbed by fountains and whatnot in order to reflect the surrounding monuments and whatnot. I mean, in this case, you can see the Lincoln Memorial, you can see the Washington Monument, you can see some of the trees. I mean, a reflecting pool is just a water feature that is found in parks, monuments, around monuments, memorial sites. Shallow pool of water, reflecting everything around it without disturbance from fountains, which the stillness of the water necessitates combating the algae. I hope that answers that question. Mr. Bill is in Hendersonville. Hey, Bill. How are you?
Matt Murphy, the most famous man from Thompson, Georgia. Thomson, no P in Thompson. I got 3 real quick ideas for you to solve the problem of the reflecting pool.
Got you.
The first one is you fill it with sharks with laser beams mounted on their dorsal fins, just like in the Austin Powers movie.
How hard is it to get a frickin' shark with a frickin' laser?
The second is you fill it full of concrete and you put reflecting mirrors on it, just like a disco ball, as in the movie with John Travolta, Staying Alive.
I like it.
And the third is, you're probably familiar with the Sphere out in Las Vegas, how they can make any kind of an image on that thing. You put LEDs on top of that concrete, and that way you can reflect the Lincoln Memorial or the Washington Monument, or you could put a gigantic portrait of Donald J. Trump, just like he's so fond of putting all over Washington, D.C., and on top of all of it, you put a 1-inch thick piece of plexiglass, just like you see in convenience stores and high crime areas, so that if vandals have any ideas about messing up those LEDs, that bulletproof glass will keep them safe. What do you think about those 3 ideas?
I love those ideas. I like 2 of them better than the third. But
Okay.
but I'm not telling you which is which.
All right. Well, you can put it in your next poll to see which one the audience likes the best.
Mr. Bill from Hendersonville, you've always been my favorite.
Oh, thank you, Matt. I look forward to seeing you at the Wilson County Tennessee State Fair. I'm going to bring you that turkey leg that eluded us last year.
Oh, we'll get it this time. Thank you, Mr. Bill. There's Mr. Bill from Hendersonville. Brian, why are you being so mean? Brian's like, it's for spiritual reflection, you freaking moron. You call me a freaking moron, and you want to talk to me about spiritual reflection? Heal thyself, doctor. 32 after the hour on Super Talk.
Yes, it is 31 minutes past 6 p.m. I'm Jay Harper with your top stories, the forecast, and another traffic report coming up. Half of Congress has jumped a hurdle that could make the 21st Century Road to Housing Act actually law. The Senate already made their voice heard. Now it's the House's turn. Here's ABC's Christiane Cordero.
The bill's objectives: increase the housing supply by restricting Wall Street investors from buying single-family homes and cutting red tape to build new homes. A recent Zillow analysis found the cost of buying a starter home is $1 million or more in a record 242 cities nationwide.
The next step would be President Trump's signature if it passes the House. It's supposed to be up for a vote sometime tonight. The Gulf states under a severe weather watch from tornadoes to flooding, but it doesn't stop there. Americans living in the western mountain states also under an advisory. ABC meteorologist Ginger Z reports.
Just minutes ago, Dallas, Texas got added to a severe thunderstorm watch. There are tornado warnings popping just south of Amarillo. And you can see Denver and Cheyenne in that level 3 out of 5 for big hail, then damaging winds and an isolated tornado. Flood watches still from eastern Oklahoma right to Shreveport.
We now turn to your closing money news for the day with Wayne Cabot.
Market indexes were down, driven by a sell-off in tech stocks. The Dow was down 46 points at the end of Tuesday trading. The S&P 500 lost 107. The Nasdaq fell 580. Losses for chip makers Nvidia, Micron, Broadcom, and Lam Research helped drive markets down. Investors could be questioning heavy spending on artificial intelligence and if AI will return bigger profits. Oil prices continue their slide on hopes of a lasting peace deal between the U.S. and Iran, dipping below $74 a barrel. The Supreme Court clears the way for ExxonMobil to sue Cuban state-owned companies in American courts over property seized after Fidel Castro took power on the island. The Department of Energy announcing $17.5 billion in loans to develop nuclear reactors to meet power needs for data centers. Secretary of Energy Chris Wright says several energy companies have already identified sites for proposed reactors.
That is the latest news, traffic, and weather on the way. I'm Jay Harper, WTN News. A new crash has popped up near the Rivergate area, 65 southbound at Vietnam Veterans Boulevard. Out in Hermitage, still working to clear the crash, 40 eastbound before Stewart's Ferry Pike. 24 eastbound at Briley Parkway, exit 54. Yeah, my way home. Thank you. Anyway, there is a crash there. Also, Old Hickory Boulevard at Eaton's Creek Road, that an injury crash. I'm Jay Harper.
Hello, friends. Matt Murphy for Grace Point Healthcare. Modern medicine delivered the old-fashioned way. What does that mean? Well, it means that they don't allow the insurance companies in the office with you, with your doctor. Why would they? Well, you know, whether there's a physical person there or not, sadly, in most medical facilities, the insurance company is present everywhere you go. The doctor can't make decisions without getting the say-so. That's unfortunate, right? When they have to abide by the standards created by the insurance company, and their design is just to save money. At Grace Point Healthcare, they don't do it that way. They treat the whole body with a comprehensive medical approach, getting to the root of the problem, not just treating the symptoms. And in order to do that the proper way, they allow you to obviously file with your insurance company for reimbursement after the fact, but they are a direct pay primary care provider. That means all treatment decisions are made between you and your doctor, and you don't have to worry about cost because you know exactly what it's costing right up front. Plus, if you enroll in the Smart Care plan, you can use your HSA. Thank you to the BBB, the Big Beautiful Bill, for that. And that Smart Care plan is $99 for the grown-ups, $79 for the kids. You don't pay anything additional for basic appointments and even labs and diagnostics. It's Grace Point Healthcare in Franklin. Call today. Schedule that appointment, 599-6868. See the Grace Point difference. I know you'll be appreciative. I know I certainly am. 599-6868. Grace Point Healthcare. Modern medicine is delivered the old-fashioned way. I had a big monologue on what would happen if we defaulted on our debt, but I feel like I've been depressing enough. So I don't want to do that. By the way, Jackson, I missed over the weekend. I cannot believe I'm about to say this, but over the weekend, I missed my responsibility in watching a movie. In other words, we did not have a movie for this weekend because you had your wedding duties to attend to.
Yes.
And so we did not assign one another that film task.
Mm-hmm.
But I found myself after the race on Sunday afternoon, after the golf on Sunday, I was like, oh, what movie? I don't have a movie this week.
Mm-hmm.
I missed it. I'm very excited about getting Matt Murphy Movie Mayhem back up and running this week.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm. You got any ideas for film?
I don't.
I don't either.
It's Tuesday.
Maybe we'll take this. I know. We'll take some suggestions a little bit later on.
Yeah.
615-737-9986. Speaking of suggestions, I don't know the answer to this. It's kind of open-ended. It might be a little too late. I'll get to Steven's call in a moment. It might be a little too late to ask the question. But what do you believe Governor Bill Lee's legacy is? And maybe this is something that I'll explore throughout the course of the summer. I came to the state of Tennessee in 2021, late 2021. So, I did not experience Bill Lee's, basically his first term in office. His term will expire, January 2027. So he went, 19 to 23. So, yeah, I guess I got some of the first term. What do you believe his legacy is? If you had to answer the question, Bill Lee accomplished blank while governor of the state of Tennessee, what would that be? Typically when I've spoken about the governor, and I've had an opportunity to meet him, seems like a great guy. I don't know that this past year, I don't know that how engaged, maybe I'm just not seeing it, the engagement, but I wonder what you think his level of accomplishment would be. Now, when I ask about some of the failures, invariably people point to COVID-19, although I frankly think that was a no-win situation for anyone in government, and some perform better than others. And Bill Lee's probably on the right side of performance, although, Nashville gets blamed for a lot of their closure and what they did as a metropolitan area, Memphis as well. But from a state perspective, I think Bill Lee tried to do best as he had the information in front of him. I wasn't here, so all I know is that we were in Alabama, and we were pointing to Florida and Tennessee like, those two states are doing it right. What are we doing in Alabama? I just kind of ask it as an open-ended question. 615-737-9986. Stephen is next. Hey, Stephen, how are you?
Oh, fantastic, man. Hope you're doing the same.
I'm great. Thank you.
The food stamps. So I can see kind of both sides of it. We want our kids to be healthy. We don't want to really spend the money on junk food and all that stuff. But at the same time, if you're standing in a line at a grocery store or something and the mom's like, no, darling, we cannot buy those Tic Tacs, or we can't buy that candy bar because we can't afford it, to me that kind of hurts. And it's like, I want a kid to be able to have some treats, some snacks, some candy, some, Coke or Mountain Dew or whatever it is every now and then. And I think that's perfectly fine. And I don't feel bad for, paying for that as well. So maybe instead of saying, in Tennessee, no, they can't have any of it, maybe we should say instead of 0, maybe it's a certain percentage, maybe like 5% or 10%, however much it is that family is getting. So if their family is getting like maybe $250 a month for food stamps, maybe saying, okay, well, you can spend $20 of that or $15 of that towards sweets for your kids. Something like that might be a fair compromise. What do you think?
So I understand wanting to give your child a feeling of normalcy, even if you have to budget and you're kind of behind and you have to depend on something like SNAP benefits to supplement the income that you have. But, I mean, why can't you spend your own money on the soda?
Right. Well, I get that completely, but I also understand.
Well, why not spend the SNAP benefits for the food that is eligible for the program, and then use whatever budgeted money that you have left over for. I mean, and if you don't have any budgeted money left over, then maybe you shouldn't be buying the sugary candy at all. I mean, I put it this way, Stephen, and I'm not trying to be hard-hearted here, but when I was growing up, we were not. I don't even know that I would call us middle class. I mean, we were lower middle class. My grandpa busted his hump. He was raising 3 grandchildren that he did not know he was going to have to raise because of my mother's medical situation and the fact that my father left when I was 5, right? So he declined food stamps. They offered us food stamps, and he said, hell no, we're not doing that, okay? That's number one. Number two, I wanted to go out to eat. When I saw other kids when I was 8, 9, 10 years old, they got to go to McDonald's. They got to go to, fast food places, and they got to go to Morrison's cafeteria and these types of places, or S&S. We never. The only time I ever remember going out to eat when I was a kid was when we had to go to the hospital cafeteria when my mother was getting chemotherapy. That's the only time. Every so often, my grandma would bring home a pizza on a Friday. I mean, that's like once or twice a year, right? So we never got to do that. And I don't know that I was dramatically harmed. I understood that we couldn't afford it.
Yeah. I mean, no, I completely understand and get your point. But, on the other side of that, you've got, say the dad of the family, right? If he is a actual dad and takes care of his kids, right? So he goes to work and he gets injured, right, doing whatever he's doing. And from that point on, maybe he breaks his back or whatever, and he cannot physically work. Or he does something that damages his nerves or his brain, and at any point in his life, and he cannot physically work, and they have to live on food stamps. At that point, you're basically, and I get, there are kids that grow up and they are restricted completely on being able to have any of that stuff. But, food stamps, if they can give that normacy to a child, maybe that's not a bad thing. But I also get your point that it's not necessarily a need to have either. And, I can see both sides of this category.
Yeah, I mean, if we wanted to, and Stephen, I hear you, if we want to carve out a scenario, a very, very specific scenario, by which you're tugging at my heartstrings and I want to let the kid have a Snickers bar, then we can probably carve out that scenario. But on the whole, taxpayers should not be footing the bill to buy kids candy that their parents cannot otherwise afford.
Oh, I completely agree. Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, you've got a big heart, and I understand where your heart's coming from, and it's coming from a good place. And I appreciate the call. Vicky is next up on the issue of SNAP. Hey, Vicky.
Hi. Without going into my whole history of it, when I never knew there was any such thing as food stamps, and when I was left to raise 2 little girls by myself, never worked a day in my life. I went and got food stamps, and you had to physically go to the office and reapply every 6 months. At the end of 6 months, I had a job, and I didn't go back and reapply because I didn't need them. I think the restrictions have just gone. They don't apply. There are no restrictions anymore. You can do it online. You can't even do it over the phone. If you had to do it in person and put the work in to do it, in order to get the food stamps, fewer people would do it because they don't want to do the work.
Yeah, I've long said that if you are able-bodied, if you are absent mental or physical disease or disability, it's amazing to me the amount of work that people put into not working in some cases. And that's kind of what you're describing. There's a tremendous amount of work to not work. If you would just work instead of working so hard to not work, then you wouldn't have to be dependent on the government.
I mean, I didn't want to live in government-subsidized apartments. I didn't want to live on food stamps. So, you know, when I worked to get out of that, and I had no education, I just figured it out. And I just think that, you know, I know there's people that are totally disabled and 100% dependent on food stamps and whatever monetary programs they are out there now. But I just think for the average person, just because you're a single mother or a single person that doesn't know what to do, that if you had to physically go to the office, they have transportation for people like that now.
Yeah.
But there's no work. You don't have to put in any work at all in order to get the benefits.
Well, you know,
and that's wrong.
And it is wrong. I mean, as you describe it, it is obviously wrong, Miss Vicki. Thank you for the telephone call. Clearly, I don't know what the entirety of the process is, but I will lean on your knowledge of it to help us understand exactly what you have to go through. One final call on this before we'll call it an evening and go to our final break of the night. Dave is next.
Hey, Mac.
Hey, Dave. Yes, sir.
Hey, on this quick story. I know you ain't got much time, but I'm on this food stamp stuff and everything else. I'm over here at the grocery store, Piggly Wiggly, and there was a family in front of me, and I don't know if they were using WIC, or I don't know what they were using, but he came up short, and those kids were there, and it was like a difference of like 17. So anyway, they're trying to put stuff back and do all this, and I just said, hey, what's the difference here? It's like $17. I'm like, well, here, I got that.
Yeah, good for you, man. That's cool.
Well, I'd like to say I'm old, but a big part of it is, hey, we got to keep this line moving, right?
Hold on, Dave. I'm sorry, you made me laugh. So it's like, oh, Dave's big-hearted. Dave's like, oh, I hate to say this. Dave's like, I got to get out of here. Y'all move along.
But, you know, I felt bad for, I
get it. I love it.
But the thing is, that's my choice.
Right.
Why?
That's right.
As a taxpayer, is it my responsibility to pay for somebody's Coca-Cola and Snickers bar?
No, it's not. It's not the taxpayer responsibility to pay for snacks.
Right. I mean, if I want to do it out of the goodness of my heart, or just because I want to get on with my life and get out of the store, that's my choice, right? Anyway, that's just my 2 cents on it.
Well, no, I appreciate the 2 cents. You made me laugh too. Dave's like, I'm like, oh, Dave's telling this sweet story about this family. They're struggling. Oh, no, they're short. Oh, what should we take back? Oh, should we take back the orange juice or the Cheerios? Dave's like, how much is it? No, Dave's like, I got to go. Let's move along. No, I'm just kidding. Dave, that's a great call. I have, I just want people to have that obstacle attack mentality. If you find an obstacle in front of you, attack that obstacle and figure out a way to overcome it. Sadly, many people have a victim mentality when it comes to obstacles in their life, and they want to wait for others, not you, not him, not most of you in this audience, but sadly, a lot of Americans have this victimhood mentality that nothing's ever their fault. It's always the responsibility of someone else. Someone has put something on them that, they couldn't control, and they're going to wait for other people to solve their issue as opposed to taking care of it themselves. With that attitude, that doesn't mean that there won't be things in your life that fall into your lap that are unforeseen by you, that are tragedies truly in their nature. But if you have the mentality of that, you'll take care of it, you'll attack it, you'll make good on it yourself, I don't believe there's anything that you can't overcome for the most part without depending on the government of the United States and the taxpaying citizen. It's at 53 after the hour on Super Talk. Before I tell you about Craft Body Scan, somebody in the Super Text line said, Dave needs to tell the truth. His beer was getting hot. Yeah, maybe. That gum, my 12-pack's going to be all warm when I get in the car. No, that's not what Dave was saying. Here's what I'm saying, that if you are unsure about how you are with regard to your health and you want to be sure, I have a way for you to be sure. It's a couples heart and lung scan through Craft Body Scan. Right now, friends, that Craft Body Scan is $99 for both you and your loved one. Ladies, I'm going to be honest with you. The men folk just aren't making the calls. The men folk aren't making this decision. You have to do this for you and your fella. A lot of people feel great and there's something going on inside. And before you become symptomatic, you need to know, because if you catch it early, the likelihood of a successful outcome is exponentially improved. That's what it's all about, is catching things early that might be going on inside of your body or giving you a peace of mind. When you go to Craft Body Scan, particularly on the full body scan, which I'm a huge fan of and recommend, you know that everything's A-okay, your body's doing good inside your body, and it's non-invasive. It's a CT scan. It takes about 8 minutes or so. You don't take your clothes off or anything like that. Call Craft Body Scan to find out more at 615-436-1000, 615-436-1000, or sign up today. That $99 special, you have to put in the promo code MATT50. That's MATT50. Here's the website, togetherwescan.com. That's togetherwescan.com for our friends at Craft Body Scan. Hey, what's up, guys? It's Matt Murphy with Super Talk 99.7 WTN, and this morning we are out and about at my house, my brand new house that I've been talking about on the radio, with Nate from USS. What's up, brother? How are you?
I'm excellent. How about you?
I'm doing well.
Good.
We invited Nate out. Now, obviously, when you're a new homeowner, especially when you buy a house that's got a few years on it, you don't know what you're dealing with in terms of foundation. And I know that Nate knows a lot more about what I don't see and what I don't know about than I do. So bring the experts out and get them to check out your house. Hey guys, Matt Murphy again with Nate with USS, and Nate has just wrapped up kind of a look at the house. And Nate, what'd you find?
Well, your house is in pretty good shape for the age of it. I had to look pretty hard to find.
Okay.
Your house being on a slope like it is here, I think we could do a lot of good by trying to terminate your downspouts a little
Okay.
further from the house there.
Okay.
Roof water is the killer of foundations, and so if we can just get it to a positive grade to drain away from your house, I think that's real cheap insurance.
You want to kind of get it out and downhill.
That's right. Yeah.
That's
So
the idea.
make sure that it doesn't come right back down towards the foundation walls, causing issues, settlement, or leakage.
Now, if folks are watching this video and they are like, we need to get Nate out to the house to do a look. I mean, it took, I watched you do it. It's, 30, 45 minutes, something like that.
Yeah.
To do a comprehensive kind of an examination around the house. And they just give you a call and schedule?
Yeah, absolutely. You can call our main phone number, or you can call reach USSTN.com and
Sure.
schedule right through the website there. Our girls in the call center will get back to you just about immediately, as long as it's during business hours. So
This just makes a lot of sense, folks, for you guys to do an examination of your house like we've done, to check it out. I'm going to get those gutters done with Nate and his team at USS, and then we'll do a video and let you know how those look at the end of all of this. So thank you, guys.
Hey, that'd be great.
We appreciate you, brother.
Matt,
All
we
right.
appreciate you.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Last words I heard before break. Hey, we're coming back to back time music. Just talk until it's over. Story of my life, friends. Story of my life.
Keep yapping.
Bill Lee was a caretaker governor, says 1221. Better than Haslam, not as good as Breslin. Bill Lee kept the illegals out of the state, said 2934. You know, I should bring this question up again, and I will. That's going to wrap it up for us today. However, for Jackson Williams, for Jay Harper in for the vacationing Ken Weaver, Matt Murphy speaking and saying have a wonderful evening. Hug your loved ones. So long, everybody.